I am Sure Sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Tricknick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Tricknick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right, good morning. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, Manningsman. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. It was a good weekend for me. Yes, indeed, because my Arsenal team had a victory. Yep, to go back to an 8-point lead at the top of the EPL table. So it was a good weekend. Not only that, as you know, I was in church, and that's always very good. You understand me? And I shared something very important yesterday. 3 things, right? You know that trials in our lives provides the opportunity for the power of the Creator to be displayed. Creates the opportunity for His presence to be felt and His protection to be provided. In fact, I want to encourage you because sometimes in life you are treated unfairly. There is injustice, abuse, financial instability, and setbacks. But oftentimes, what we see as setbacks are actually setups for some of the greatest things in our lives. They set the stage for us to be better. So sometimes when you have setbacks, don't beat up yourself, because it can be a building block to the next place that the Almighty God wants to bring you. Sometimes you need to be almost like you're turned down and rejected by people. And when that happens, it opens bigger doors for your life. I'm going to show you a good example, right? Now, I don't know if you know the story of Honda. Any of you have a Honda vehicle? All right. So let me give you the story of Honda. I think the guy name is Soichiro Honda, right? Before he started the company Honda, he actually applied for a job as an engineer at Toyota Motor Corporation. And he interviewed for the job, had all the qualifications, and he was rejected. He was jobless for a while after being rejected because he thought he was going to get the job. So he started making some scooters in his house. And it is from there he started his own business. And many of us drive Honda vehicles today. You understand that, people? So even that is showing you that when life hits you hard, don't let it knock you down. A similar story is about Akio Morita. You may not have heard of that name, but he started a company, Sony. Now, one of his first invention or thing that he made was, let me tell you what it was. He made a rice cooker, and the first batch of rice cooker, he only sold 100 units out of the huge batch of rice cooker. That is because the first 100 rice cooker, instead of cook rice, it burnt up rice. But look at Sony today. Again, he failed, but that didn't make him a failure. So right now, you maybe try something and it didn't work. Keep on going, man. Keep on pressing. Keep on trying. The Almighty God is on your side. We're going to share our next story and then we'll get into some other stuff. If you know classical music, you know about Beethoven. Great classical musician, composed a lot of sonatas and all of those things. I mean, violin, keyboard, all of those things. All right? In his 20s, he had a hearing impediment. In fact, by the middle of his life, this great composer of some of the best classical music you ever listened to was stone deaf. Stone deaf. But some of the greatest pieces ever written in classical music were written by him. Don't let your disabilities stop you, or your inabilities stop you. As long as the Almighty God is on your side and you are with him, you can do all things through him who strengthens you. Don't be deterred by people questioning you. Blessed are you when men persecute you and speak all manner of evil against you. So I just want to encourage somebody. Maybe it's not for you, but somebody else, maybe you can hear it. You can find these stories for yourself and share them with somebody else to provide some encouragement to them. All right? Blessings to all of you. Big up all the persons in the building. Jason, good to see you. Fresh God. Kevin Williams. RR. Marcelo. Bless up. Thanks to all who are watching. And you may not have made a comment yet. Bless up to you. B. Douglas. Bless up to everyone. Those who will watch this on the replay, greetings and blessings to you. Life forevermore. I pray that whatsoever you do, you prosper in it. Pray that your leaves will not wither any at all. Ryan LFC, up and running. Blessings, brother. Steph Curry, Blessing. Steph Curry, you get beaten last night by the Denver Nuggets. Bless up yourself. Once the Mount Pleasant dead. Mount Pleasant not play yet, man. Mount Pleasant play today. We're going to get to that. But big up yourself, Steph Curry. All right? So, today we're going to discuss speed of play versus pace of play and how one impact the other. Today, we're going to talk about the EPL, the JPL. But I must begin by speaking to the champions of champs, Kingston College and Heidel, picking up their first ever girls champs championship. Been a while, been a minute, it has been coming. And finally, after all these years of trying, not one of the older schools, Heidel, has finally, and I must say, big up to Heidel. Heidel had two athletes who could have been back in champs, Brianna Liston would have probably picked up some points. And I think Kerika Hill is her name. They could have been in school. Same like the Clayton twins. But those girls would have gotten even more points. Right? But Heidel must be commended. It's very unfortunate how things kind of ended on the girls' side. But it was a great school effort. And sometimes what can happen is that we are so focused on what happened to Edwin Allen in that medley relay, I believe it was, that we forget that this was hard work by Heidel. And Heidel did nothing. Heidel didn't appeal it. It wasn't Heidel who brought a case against Edwin Allen. It was the officials who saw an infringement. So what happened to Edwin Allen has nothing to do with Heidel. They did not go and appeal it. In fact, in the qualifiers, Heidel suffered in the medley. Yeah, Heidel suffered from the same ruling. They were disqualified for doing a similar thing and were not able to participate in the medley. So kudos to Heidel. Kudos to Coach Corey Bennett. I think part of our discussion on the Night of Champs is how was he able to maneuver both? Because he's a coach at Calabar and he's also the coach at Heidel. Calabar flattered to deceive. Underwhelming performance by them. Many injuries, but they weren't out there as usual. Then you have I told people, I remember when I was doing my preview, I just felt like they had too many events again for Serena Cole. I felt like she was doing too much. Coming into champs, leading up to champs from Central champs. And I think the Edwin Allen team was deep enough to let her just focus on the one and the two alone. Because if she were in those events, I am sure if she competed all the way through, they would have picked up at least 6 points, which would have given them the title, in spite of the 12 points that they would have lost. But again, can't take anything away from what Heidel did. Every final almost, they had competitors. great, great job. But for some reason, I think when you see that kind of effort from Heidel, the coach over the years have invested a lot. I want to know what Calabar's expectations were coming into champs because there's no way Heidel could be that organized. Heidel was one of those schools, along with KC, that the points that they dropped were not based on injuries. I know Andre Carr was missing for KC coming into champs. But when you look at Heidel, they never had like major injuries in any race. Calabar and JC and Edwin Allen suffered from several injuries. So I am just wondering if because the attention of Coach Corey Bennett, good coach, was divided, if that affected even the preparation of the Calabar team. Just hearing that Cole wasn't doing the jump, any of the jumps this year. She was going to do 100 alone and long jump. Okay. 100 long jump and 4x1. Right? I also heard that brain drain was at champs. Somebody said they spotted the AI brain drain at champs. Coach Minzy, did you see him? Because I heard that he was at champs, you know. Yeah, man, I heard that brain drain was at champs, Coach Minzy. Did you see him? Or did he come and heal you? And Minzy, if anybody in a Calabar, yeah, man, brain drain was at champs, man. So I heard that he was at champs. Brain drain, where you at champs? I heard that he flew down for it. So if anybody from Calabar that you don't know said, Coach Minzy, it probably was brain drain. Try and remember the face. That's what him look like. So I heard. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So Coach Minzy, yeah man, some of my birds spotted him. And he was there. You may not see him on any platform today because I think he heads back to the States today. So you probably will not be seeing him until tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah. On the boys' side, I mean, again, the JC Calabar teams were decimated by injuries, which made it easier for KC. But I still believe if both uh, JC and Calabar were at full strength, I think Kingston College would have still prevailed in spite of their mishaps. I just felt like all around they had the best team and they were going to find some way of pulling through. I think it is next year that JC and Calabar can do something. Hey, Coach Minzy, you need to come give me a review, you know. But I have to big up some schools as well. I'm going to talk about individual performances, but I have to big up some school, right? Schools like Magotty High School, Sydney Pagan High School. Those schools are in St. Elizabeth. And those schools would generally, like the top athletes would end up at St. Elizabeth Technical. But because of how the schooling system is, because of how just the placement out of primary school is school like the Magati and the Sydney Pagan, and they get athletes as well, and those athletes they stay in the school because of the ISA transfer policy, and I think this is where it works. So Magati did well. You can tell like a school like Monroe suffered because of some of the placement issues with some of the kids, because they were nowhere to be seen or found at champs, though they were present. Because other schools from St. Elizabeth, Lacovia did well from St. Elizabeth, Magati did well from St. Elizabeth, and also Sydney Pagan from St. Elizabeth did well. You had some other schools in some other areas that I have to. Mushet is the next school that did well. You have to big up these schools. They came in, not a lot of athletes, not a lot of athletes, right? And I'm calling these schools because you don't normally hear the Mushets and the the Magati and Sydney Pagan. You don't hear these schools normally when champs going on. So big up to the coaches, big up to GC Foster, who are working to get the kids ready. They send students into these schools that graduate from GC Foster, good coaches. And so track and field is being spread out across Jamaica. And that is good. Better job than what is happening for the most part with football. Kudos to them for that. You come to Clarendon. Clarendon is the next place where you have schools who you don't normally hear about at champs doing well. Denby, Fogo Road. These schools are getting athletes into finals. This you can see is affecting a school like Veer. Veer was one of those schools that in the 80s and early 90s, heading into the 2000s, Veer was so dominant. But because athletes are all over, no. You come to St. Anne, you see Fern Court coming back. Your Castle have a program. Steertown Academy, next new school. You see in Westmoreland, Petersfield surpassing like Mannings, who have always been there. Edwin Allen in Clarendon as well. Not just on the girls' side, but on the boys' side. Delano Academy. They didn't have Brian Level, even at champs. So this is good for track and field. See the likes of Merle Grove having athletes in Kingston in the finals. St. Catherine High doing well. It's good to see that the talent is spread far and wide. You go over to the east, Port Antonio High, St. Mary's College, St. Mary's High, all of these schools. Titchfield, Medal. Immaculate continues to have a steady program. Woolmer's girls, Woolmer's boys continue to have steady programs. So What I like is that the coaches in track and field are not looking, unlike in football, where most of our big coaches want big schools, in track and field, the coaches are spread out. Holy childhood. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So track and field is, for the most part, on the up and up. When you see boys, class 1 finals, under 10 seconds, we have seniors who struggle to go under 10 seconds. We have a high schooler. I'd say to Bouwarji and crewman, man from St. Elizabeth, Black River Primary. Know what, Casey? I think you should okay. Oh, Stephen Francis at Holy Childhood. Okay. Okay. Hey, Bouwarji, if I were you, you probably have your CXCs, you probably your Cape first year. Listen, go pro. All right, people are saying that I don't big up Jago yet. No, man, I'm calling the schools that normally you don't hear about them. Jago is a champion school, man. I wouldn't call Jago in that, and I wouldn't call Jago and Homo, and I wouldn't call those schools. But let me get down to, yeah. Oh, make his decision already. Thank you, Coach Minzy. Yeah. I would say get a deal, get a shoe deal, and go pro. And while you're pro, I would say after a while you can probably do college like some of the NBA players. But right now, you are in prime position to make some money. You get a good shoe deal, you find yourself. I figure I know where you're going, because you already stated is that before the race, Usain Bolt gave you a pep talk, and that is pointing you in one direction, racers. I think that's a good decision. Man. Hey, people know what I call every school. All right, big up Tivoli. Tivoli, I didn't hear Tivoli at champs. But you. Because St. Mary hired the Lord of mercy. Man, they say me not call Tivoli. Oh, jeez. Charlie Mount. Hey, Brett, I can't call every school because I call it up and coming school. Yo, the people them the easy to beat me. Yo, they like money, man. When I beat me too much already. 31 likes. Hit the like button because see then let me take a break. Cause now beat me already. So me not call this school. Me not call this school. Man was say, big up Excelsior. Come on, man. Yo. All right. So I think it would be good for him to train with oblique civil. Imagine that in the same camp, being prepared by the man who prepared. Big up Camper though. You know, me Camper the check. The man who prepared Usain Bolt, Glenn Mills. So if I were Bouwarji and Krume's parent, I would say, listen, time for you to go pro. I would even, personally, I don't normally recommend that kids skip college. But when you have talent like this, I think it's a viable option because early out, by 24 you're set. And what they can do is accumulate enough funds that at 24, if it's not working out, go and pursue your college education because you're still young. I don't know. What do you think, people? I would say, though, for the ladies, because some people are saying Alana Reid should go pro. I would not suggest that Alana Reid go pro. If she has a next year, I would say take a next year in high school. Complete your study and go to college. Why? Because on the female side, for you to break into that 100 meter, 200 meters over the next 4 years, Alana, it's going to be difficult. Because remember, you still have Kevona Davis, Kemba Walker, Brianna Liston, Brianna Williams, and the Clayton twins. You already have 7. I remember I don't call Sharika yet, who is still young, and many others. So I would say a young lady who is doing good times, Kemba Nelson. Kemba Nelson. Oh, Miss Sandra go beat me in time she see me. Be a conk in a middle. Big up yourself, Miss Sandra, Kemba's mother. No, Baggio. Kemba. No, which Kev wanna drop off? Kev wanna and Alfred just did a thing there at university. Record time. You saw her leg at the relay, man. Baggio, you have to follow the track and field. So what is the point I am making? The point I am making is that for the next 4 to 5 years, the female side is going to be so highly competitive. You still have Elaine, you still have Sharika. Maybe after this year, next year, you won't have Shelly. So I would say to the females, go to college. Instead of going pro, go to college. But the quality on the men's side, especially in the sprints, I think the two that we have, I hear that Jelani Walker, Chris Lynch told that Jelani Walker just did some good times. Civil and Blake. Not you one. So I think the males stand a chance. So I would say to the females, go to college. Because the pro level is not easy to break into. Brianna, Liston, and Williams and the Clayton twins. Are not no walkover, pushover. Stiff competition. So go to college, get your education, because I believe that you will still be representing Jamaica. And when I say college, you don't have to go to the States to do college. You can still be in Jamaica and go to UWI, get a full scholarship, or UTech, get a full scholarship, depending on what you pursue. Because college is not just the United States. You can still be trained or coached by Stephen Francis or Glenn Mills or whomever in Jamaica and complete your studies. That's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to go to the United States. It is an option. But I don't think it is the best option on the female side given where some of our athletes are. Well, what are your thoughts, people, on these things? I think, well, Delano Kennedy, the time that he ran 45 lows, he could be in contention for a spot because the 400 meters quality not so bright. So like Delano Kennedy, pro, straight pro. Again, because on the male side, there's not a lot of quality. All right. Rob Smith is saying the 400 meter, men 400 meters is looking good this year. All right, we'll see. Ishmael says it's a nice mix. Some go college, some go pro. Real SU says, man, is I think the IAAF should look into lifting the cap on the amount of athletes for one country that can compete in individual races and just have the fastest athletes compete regardless. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yes, so the men 400 look good. All right. VCB, little brother, just started season sub 45. Now, Balakar, in track and field, lots of scholarship are available once you're bright. Once you're a very good athlete. Man, is maybe the pro circuit will improve him, but 45 not getting you many wins internationally, but for Jamaica it is okay, which is what I'm saying, Brian. I am saying that he could make our Jamaica really a team. Oini Blake says, man is them figure pro. More competition only makes you stronger and faster. Plus, there is always the unpredictable of injury and loss of form. The more the merrier. I don't agree with that. That's a decent point from realist youth about fastest athlete, but I don't think the IFF will consider that. No, yeah, because at the end of the day, you imagine if the 16 fastest persons in the 100 meters are Americans. You can imagine, because you can have that, you can have in any season, like America probably have on the female 400 meters, they probably have 12 athletes of the 20. So yeah, I don't know if the IAAF will do that. But some good individual performances, and like I said, some of the newer schools also did well. Kudos to them. All right. Before we get into the speed of play versus pace of play, we're going to talk some. Should we go EPL first? EPL. Two more managers lost their jobs. So let's look at the EPL. How many coaches? How many fires and hires? So let's go. This is the second firing for Chelsea, so that's two. Tottenham fired their coach. That's three. Everton fired their coach. That's 4. Aston Villa fired their coach. That's 5. All right. Bournemouth fired their coach. That's 6. 6. Did I say Tottenham? Tottenham fired their coach. That's 7. Who again? 7. Leeds fired their coach. That's 8. Wolves. That's 9. Leicester, by this mutual consent, that's 10. Southampton, that's 11. Crystal Palace, that's 12. So, more than half the teams in the Premier League relieve their coaches of their duties. No, Manu coach was in from the start of the season, man. When did Manu fire their coach? Manu coach wasn't fired this season. Football is business, people. Yeah, I called Crystal Palace already. So, Chelsea fans, seeing that you may not be in the Champions League, who is going to coach Chelsea? Zidane ain't coming. What's his name? Nagelsmann. Not coming without Champions League. So, Chelsea fans, who do you want over there? Tottenham fans, who do you want over there? What fresh guy that he took the job already? Nagelsmann took the job? What? He said the Chelsea job. Heard this morning, Julian? No. Okay, so Nagelsmann, has he taken the job or is he being interviewed for the job? Potter or Rodgers to Tottenham? I hear they're saying that they're going to hire Patrick Vieira. Vieira to Tottenham? That would be a problem in North London, man. Arsenal legend? No. But club football? No, Tuchel is coaching Bayern Munich. You see the man them destroy Dortmund over the weekend. Yeah. Well said. All I know, I never been more happy for someone to get fired. We did tired of Potter. We have a caller. Let's see if the line is open. Cataract. Hello? What's going on? Oh, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Let's see if we can get our phone line working. Thought the phone line was up and running, but it's not. Let's do this and call you back, Ketara. Let's see if we can get the phone line going. Thought the phone lines were up and running, but it is not. All right. Here we go. Let's disconnect. All right. There we go. Let's call back. Let's see if we can call back Oini. What is a security boss says? Steadily cut the line. Okay. All right. Cataract says he wants to come on. So hey, let we go. We go. The people needed to answer some questions in a cataract. So let me just. Right. So let me give you the scores in the EPL for those of you who may not have been following what is going on in the EPL. We give you the scores, update highlights, and all of those things. All right. Latest score in the EPL. Here we go. Let me show you, and then we give you the point standing. So here we go. The EPL. I need to hear from people like Demo, because Demo said that the slide will start. Well, we're actually in April. All the people are saying that the Arsenal slide will start in March. So there you go, people. Bournemouth, they defeated, Fulham by 2-1. Nottingham Forest and Wolverhampton Wanderers drew 0-0. Brentford 3, Brighton and Hove 3. Crystal Palace 2, Leicester City 1. A new man in charge of Crystal Palace. Their coach was fired after their last game. First game in charge. By mutual consent, Rodgers leaves Leicester City. Arsenal 4, Leeds 1. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 0. And that manager lost his job after that game. West Ham 1, Southampton 0. And I think the surprise result is Newcastle 2, Manchester United 0. Prior to that, Liverpool lost 4-1 to Manchester City. But this is the third game in the Premier League that third game that Manchester United have not scored a goal. Very, very interesting. Fresh God says Roy Hodgson is back at Crystal Palace. What? Rampasad, Brentford 1-3-2. Yeah, really? Who said Rampasad? Really get no man, your scoreline wrong, man. That game ended 3-3. You left the game before it finished, Rampasad. The last kick of the game, there was a penalty that McAllister scored. The game ended 3-3. So your scoreline is wrong, Ricky. Your scoreline is wrong. The game ended 3-3. So let's look at the point standing. Where is Arsenal in all of this? Here you go. That's your point standing, dear people. Look at the top 6. Look at the top 6 people. That's your top 6 right there. Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Manchester United, Tottenham, and Brentford. Chelsea, they're out of the top 10. All right. There you go. Cataract, good morning. Welcome to the show. What say you on this coach firing matter? We're not hearing your Cataract. Are you speaking? All right, Cataract. We're not hearing Cataract. He's muted, so let's come back to him. Now, Arsenal, they have 9 games to go. City have 10 games. Arsenal have an 8-point lead. So, I see Ram Prasad saying that people, can Liverpool still make the top 4? Can Liverpool still make the top 4? They are on 42 points. I mean, can they surpass Newcastle United and Tottenham? I find it. Somebody saying Manchester United could drop out the top 4. All right, so I think Arsenal makes top 4, obviously. City makes top 4, obviously. I cannot see Manchester United having played Liverpool twice, Arsenal twice, Tottenham twice, Man City twice, Chelsea twice, don't make in top 4. So Manchester United is going to be there. And Newcastle, they have an 8-point lead over Liverpool. Newcastle, if you look at it, people, Newcastle don't lose a lot of games. They draw a lot, but they don't lose a lot. I don't see them losing enough games to come out of the top 4. So I would say the 4th position will be a fight between Tottenham and Newcastle. But I think Manchester United will be in it. So Newcastle have only lost 3 games. Jones fans still believe in Liverpool for top 4. I think that's going to be hard for them, honestly. I am going Arsenal, Man City, United, and then I'm leaving that fourth spot for Brighton because Brighton has only played 26 games. So if they win their 2 games, they could be tied on points with Tottenham. So 33 Liverpool. Liverpool have 27 games. So they have 12 games left, right? 11 games. 11 games they have left. 11 games at 33 points. Win all of them, that's 75. It's going to be very, very difficult. Trust me. Very, very difficult. So I am ruling Liverpool out of the top 4. Ramprasadi says, Liverpool always finishes season strong, but they just lost to City, though, Ramprasad. Sometimes you have to be real and look at stuff, All right, we have Cataract. Morning, Cataract. Welcome to the show.
Morning, man. Morning.
Yeah.
I noticed you spent an extra 2 seconds on the Arsenal result. We don't appreciate that.
An extra 2
Why
seconds.
you read it so slow? Arsenal 4, Leeds what? Draw out the thing, man. Chop it down. We're in the relegation dogfight, I bring the perspective from the other end of the table, the business end of the table. Fighting for our life. Nobody wants to go down to the Bush League. And things are, if I don't know if you don't even show the lower half of the table.
Not a problem, man.
So hanging on by the thread. I think realistically they are up to 12th place is not safe. Chelsea, they're being a Hercules holding up the top half of the table, after 300 and how much $1 million spent. But the business end right now, I think Southampton is in problems. I do think that they go down because they have played a game more. And if Leicester and Everton, Leeds even get, let's say they all win, just for example, they would be nearly 5 points adrift of safety. So I think Southampton is gone. And really the battle is from Wolverhampton down to Leeds, Everton, Leicester. So it's going to be a ding dong battle.
Why people believe Nottingham Forest going down? Nottingham Forest not going down, man.
Really, let me tell you, Nottingham Forest's problem, is that they have gone the route of buying a new team to take part in the EPL. So they have an extended time getting chemistry together. They also have a extensively long injury list of players out injured. So it has been very harsh on them coming back. And they don't seem to have a goal scorer, a big goal scorer. And that's the problem with Everton. It's the problem with Leeds. Leicester, Southampton, all of us at the bottom don't have goal scorers. So it's really the goal scorers that is the problem. And I think they might be very leaky in their defense. I know Bournemouth's defense is a problem. I think they have conceded 55 goals, if you check it out. So a lot of goals conceded. So somebody has to tighten up and go on a little run. Maybe win 2 games back-to-back and get themselves out of the fire. But I see the relegation going down to the last day, as it did last year when Leeds avoided relegation in the last minute of the game. when what was the other side? I think it was Brentford. Was it Brentford we played that went down to 9 men? Had 2 people sent off, but we were the beneficiaries of 2 red cards, and we were able to stay up. But it I don't know where Leeds goals are coming from. In our defense, oh Lord, what's his name again now? Lord, his name slipped me. We have our central defender injured, the German central defender.
Kosh.
No man. Oh Lord, I soon tell you. Lord have mercy. And Tyler Adams is out from the central midfield. So it's a little sticky for us.
This is a defender. That's a fresh guy type in a name.
Wober.
Oh, Wober.
Max Wober. Right. Wilfred Ganito is injured, and he has been a spark for us. Tyler Roberts has a thigh injury, so it's really really sticky. It's not where you want to be.
I think Southampton going down. I
think Southampton is gone.
I think the change of coach this late for Leicester and Brendan Rodgers left, they are going down. So it's which other team? I think those 2 teams are down.
The thing about Leicester is that they can find goals because they have strikers. So I worry about Leicester.
I think they are going down. I just feel like Everton plays Tottenham Hotspurs today. I believe, and I think like Tottenham go win that game.
Again, up front is the problem for Everton. They don't have a number 9 with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, England international striker of Jamaican heritage. He has been injured on the injury table for quite a while, and they have recalled Ellis Sims back from loan at Sunderland. However, he's not been starting consistently.
So let me say it again. If today Tottenham beats Everton are in deep trouble, and I think Tottenham is going to win. The other game is tomorrow's game, because tomorrow, remember, Leeds and Nottingham Forest play at Elan Road. If Leeds lose that game, Nottingham Forest, I think, will be safe and Leeds will be out. So that's an important game. And then Bournemouth host Brighton tomorrow as well. Leicester City host Aston Villa tomorrow as well.
The Brighton game is not a play game. Brighton is not a play side in this league. They have demonstrated that they can hang with the big boys. They can bamba with the big boys, and they are ruthless with the small boys.
Yeah, but here's the problem, because let me give you. So I think Everton is going to lose today. Their next game is Saturday versus Manchester United at Manchester.
Very difficult.
I think they are going to lose that as well.
Unless they have a signed agreement based on when David Moyes went across.
All right. Their next game will be against Fulham. I think they are going to struggle against Fulham. I think
Fulham
they have
been steady in the league, but Fulham will be without Mitrovic for an extended period of time. So I think teams are going to pick up points against Fulham, or at least draws.
I don't
Mitrovic
know.
Is the fulcrum of Fulham,
But Mitrovic has not been scoring, and they have been.
He's the fulcrum. He's the fulcrum. He's the
but they have not.
The point man. He attracts attention.
Yeah, man. But they have won several games without him this season.
No.
Check the stuff.
Look at how many draws. They have not lost many without him, but if my memory serves correct, they draw a few with him not being there. But it's an interesting season, competitive season, and this is what we like to see in the football. We like the unpredictability of it. You know, the bookies it must be a joy for the bookkeepers and the betting fraternity. You know what I mean? So it's a bit sticky icky down there. It's a bit sticky, mate.
I think Everton's games are too tough. I like they have Crystal Palace. They have a tough stretch of game. So I think Everton, by the time they have like Newcastle, they have no easy games. And then one of their last game is against Leicester, which is going to be whoever wins that goes down, depending on how Leicester is. And then they have Brighton, Everton in problems, and they have also have Manchester City on the 13th of May, which could be a game that Manchester needs to get a result out of to win the Premier League.
It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. So there have only been 6 clubs that have not been relegated from the EPL since 1992. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham, and Chelsea. Right? Which means that everyone there has been relegated before. And therefore, there's no club that is too big to fail. Right? None.
Yeah. But I believe that Southampton, Everton, and I feel like Leicester going down.
Well, Everton has only been relegated once. Leeds has been relegated once, but then 16, 16 years it took us to get back up. So a number of teams have only been relegated one time. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. The other thing is that I mean Chelsea. This guy sounds strange.
No. That's nonsense talk. That's nonsense talk. Chelsea are 2 points away from the magic
Safety.
40. And with 40 points, I think only one team in the history of top flight football in a century has been relegated with 40 points. So that ain't happening, bro.
All right. So are they going to get it in their next game? Because their next game is tomorrow versus Liverpool at home.
I don't know. No. Wow. Don't know, mate. That's Liverpool's form is on. Not Liverpool, sorry. Is it against Liverpool? Is the derby, or
So
it's
Chelsea goes up against Liverpool. Tomorrow.
Two struggling teams, one managerless. I think Liverpool will be looking to get their top 4 ambitions back on track.
Yeah. So that's it.
Interesting.
But I don't think any more coaches getting fired.
No, man. I see coaches getting fired.
With
Nottingham Forest, I believe, are gonna cut and run with Steve Cooper.
Listen, they should,
and
not when they're on this. They have been doing a whole lot better. If they were going to fire him, I think they would have done it already. I don't see Cooper losing his job.
If Liverpool seem like they're not getting the results to go in the Champions League, Jurgen maybe a book is outside chance of being fired.
Man, Liverpool not going to do that, man. If Liverpool get in with a club, they're doing it at the end of the season by more mutual consent. I don't think like clubs like Liverpool.
Mutual consent is fired, you know.
No, I don't think clubs like Liverpool gonna fire a top coach like Klopp like that with 8 games left or 7 games left. I don't see that. They're a principled club.
Okay. Yeah, well, they've been a long time. From Rafael Benitez and Brendan Rodgers.
those coaches never brought in anything for Liverpool. I think that's what happened. But Klopp has brought back the glory days to Liverpool. I don't see them like firing him, even if they lose 3 more games. And like I said to you,
I just sign a new contract don't mean a thing in the boss, because we don't know what is in that contract. You know, but let's see. But Mannings, I wanted to touch on the lessons from boys and girls champs, particularly girls champs with the whole Heidel High School breaking the dominance of Edwin Allen, stopping them in their tracks, so to speak. What I asked, I typed in there, what are the lessons that could be learned from the victory for the Reggae Boys? But I just want to say, just on the final thing about football management, I think the JFF has some lessons to learn, because there were all these coaches losing their job. And then we were given the revelation on Friday that Coach Fuzzy and we know that Coach Marion Gordon are safe in theirs, despite 2 World Cup qualification debacles. So is the question that I would have, and I'd put it to Mr. Speed, but I'm putting it here in case I'm not here, is, are the JFF serious about the business of football when those in the world of football are showing us that you have to be ruthless when results are not forthcoming, or the expected results are not forthcoming from your managers?
Yeah, but I think it's an unfair comparison. Number one, to compare what happens in club football and national football. You don't see nations so ruthless in firing their coaches as club teams. Number one. Number two, and these coaches were not coaches in a senior program; they were youth coaches. So we'd have to basically check and see what is the percentage of youth coaches to go. Now, while I agree that when people fail to meet desired objective, there must be consequences, which sometimes includes firing them. I would also ask, is it fair to compare what is happening in a club in the top league in the world with coaching an under 17 lowly ranked nation?
Lowly ranked.
Jam-
There are 190 something nations in the world. Jamaica is not lowly ranked.
What?
We are in the top half of footballing nations in the world.
Okay,
So it's not lowly ranked.
what I call lowly rank is anything that falls out of the window of the World Cup by 10. You're not close.
No.
If you're 10 outside,
definitions.
no. There are 32 teams in the World Cup. You're not in the top 10. And we're talking about the senior, because the ranking is determined by senior. If you come to junior teams, Jamaica's U team, under 20 team is not ranked in the top 70.
Well,
and the under 17 is not top ranked, nowhere close.
So hold on. So let me say this. The first thing is, Mannings, I think you're using numbers, but sometimes numbers lie. So international teams play less games than club teams, and therefore the frequency with which an international manager actually manages a team is less. So the frequency with which a window would come for them to get a bad result to be fired would be less, right? So let's keep the math in mind, right? Secondly, Jamaica is a mid-level team in the world of football. But even your last point that says that the senior team is ranked way higher than the youth teams are performing way below the ranking of the senior team should be cause for serious concern. Because
that's a different, but that is not.
No.
Qatar, we are focusing on. We're not going to change the discussion. So if you want to discuss concerns we should have about our football, that's a different discussion. We are not discussing that. What we are discussing is the ruthlessness, that's the word that
Yeah.
you use,
Ruthless.
with a club, right, with a club coach being fired, and why a coach that coaches Jamaica under 17 team should be fired. I think if you're going to do that, you have to find other nations playing and how they deal with their youth coaches or national coaches. Club football cannot be the comparison.
Okay. So, how many coaches were relieved of their duties after the World Cup?
I don't know. And what I can tell you is that the Mexican coach, so a lot of the coaches after the World Cup, like the American coach is still there, checking CONCACAF. The Panama coach is still there. The Costa Rican coach still, all of those coaches are still there in place. Um, Brazil relieved their coach of their duty. The Spain coach is still there. Argentina coach is still there. The England coach is still there. Morocco coach is still there. Croatia coach is still there. So when you look at the teams, the top teams, all of their coaches are really in place. The France coach is still there. But I don't want to. Why?
So, 7 managers were relieved of their duties.
Not a high percentage.
Right.
The Spain coach was fired. Sorry, yeah. But that's not a high percentage, though.
Hold on.
I'm telling you.
And that doesn't count those that came to the end of their contract.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so the question is for our footballing team, what was the length of the contract, for example, for the under 20 coach and the under 17 coach? Right? What was the length of the contract and what was the contractual arrangement? Because if you're talking about ruthlessness, we want better results.
All right. So let me all right, fine. So let me answer this.
Okay.
The American coach was not fired, people. We're talking about coaches that were fired.
Right.
We know what happened with the American coach. He was not fired. There was an issue, as we know, with a particular player that spilled over into some other things. To put him in a group of coaches that have been fired would not be accurate. All right, we can discuss who is still in the job and who is not and go through the reasons. He was not fired. All right, let's leave it. All right, now,
Okay.
while I agree with you that the under 17 failed to qualify, thus they should not, the coach should pay a price, because we believe as fans he had better options. Because when you check the results, how many games did the team lose in the under 17?
2.
All right.
Out of?
2 games.
Out of?
4.
Good. That's half the games.
Yes. So right. So it's 4 games. So
they lost 50% of the games. But yeah.
Right. So the point I'm making is to say that you lost 50% of your game, you're going to be fired. That can't be the reason to really fire the coach. The reason to fire the coach is this. 1, given the resources we had, the selection of players was underwhelming. How the team played, not so much the result, but the play of the team was grossly underwhelming. And for these 2 reasons, when we evaluate you as a coach, you get a failing grade. Because if you got those results in the World Cup, you would have been in the round of 16. So it's not bad if you're in the World Cup because you came out of your zone. You lost one of your zone game. You drew 1, you win 1.
Okay.
When you got into the round of 16, you lost. So follow me. What I'm saying is that, coach, you're going to lose your job because your selection process, like I said, was underwhelming. You had way better quality and you selected the wrong players. Number 2, the performance of the team in terms of how they played was disorganized, poor substitution, bad adjustments. So you are going to be fired for that. But if you had a discussion with the coach The coach could say to you, but I was in a zone, a 1-1, tie one, and lost one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
my answer to that, and I think this will be better discussed when Mr. Speed is here. So I'm not going to extend it, but I'm just saying we're talking about management and how we hold managers accountable for results in the business of football. So you see, perspective is a hell of a thing. You said the coach lost 50% of his games, so not bad.
No, you
no,
said,
hold on,
you said
hold on. He
50%.
lost. No, you asked how many games did he lose, which was 2 out of 4. But you didn't ask how many games did he win, which was he only had a winning percentage of 25. So
No, but
hold on,
right, go ahead,
listen.
go ahead. Yeah,
So a winning percentage of 25% is a low percentage. And if you extrapolated that to the fact that they, as you said, the not only the result, no, but how you played get to the result, there are question marks, right? But I think under 20 and under 17 have 2 different things, you know. One, I think, was you had all these resources literally brought to you. So people brought the horses to the water, you including others, Manning's man, organized and paid for the playing field for professional players to join the team. The coach really didn't have any great interest in that. The JFF didn't. It's the fans who got together and financed the playing fares for the players. They got there, and with what we would arguably say was on paper the strongest under 20 team in terms of professionalism, etc., even stronger than those who have qualified prior, or we capitulated, right? So it was a failure to produce with the resources provided. In the under 20 case, there are serious questions to be asked about the exclusion of players who we have seen have stepped into the national senior men's team. Some have performed exceptionally well, and all have performed creditably. You understand? So I think the balance to say you go to a qualifier and fail, and then there's no question mark. And no, fans can't fire coaches, but look at David Moyes. Look at David Moyes.
But all right, Cataracts, I don't want to go because you make a statement and then you got distracted because you look at the comment, you know.
Yeah,
you're making a point. So let's go. I don't want us to shift what we're discussing because
ruthlessness of management.
At no point did I say the coaches should not be fired. So let's make that categorically clear. When you are a manager, let's use your word, and you are going to dismiss a person, you have to be guided by a process so you don't wrongfully dismiss the person. If you say you're going to dismiss the coach because he went to a tournament, he got in his group 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, and came out of his group. If that is the standard for firing coaches, then every coach who don't make the under 16 in the World Cup must be fired.
No, Mannings, on a point of order. On a point of order. Parliamentary rules. On a on my feet, on a point of order. A point of order, sir. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish. I had a point of order, but I will allow you to finish since.
Right? If it is that if the team don't win this amount of game after a certain amount, a coach must be fired, then Hal Grimson should have been fired from the games against Trinidad. So,
And again,
let me-
I must rise on a point of order.
no, man.
I
So,
must rise,
let me
sir.
finish my point because I made the
No,
point
that's not a point
earlier.
of order.
You can just write down what you have to say and remember it. So that's not how you fire people. Here is the grounds by which you have rightful cause to evaluate and fire the two coaches, the one for the under 17 and the one for the under 20. Let me say it again. Number one, based on the resources, meaning the players available to you, your selection of players for your squad was woefully inadequate and underwhelming. Point one. For that reason, you are going to be held accountable. Secondly, because of your poor selection, the way the team played was poor, you are going to be fired. Number three, because of the poor selection, the expectations that we had were not achieved. You're going to be fired. Here is why I say that. If the coach had the same players and the team played well, had the same results, got to the round of 16 and lost to Mexico on penalties, then we would have said it was unfortunate. So it cannot be about that. Because to assume that if you had those players, the team getting to play the United States of America in the round of 16 would have gone through. Don't make any sense. You can't assume that we would have gone through. You don't know. What I can say to you, you can make up your I roll it. What I will say to you is simply this. If all the players that we wanted to play, if all the players we wanted to play played, and the team played well, lost that round of 16 games and penalties, would our criticism of the coach be the same? Because the point I am making is not the end that we're firing him about. It is the process to the end that he failed in. That is why we are saying the end is the way it is. Because we assume that if other things were done, the end result would have been different. Though we don't know that for sure. But we believe, given the other resources, the end result could have been different. And on that premise, that is how I know people deal with firing and relieving people of their duties.
Okay. Now you've raised several questions. I had 2 points of orders.
Go ahead.
And points of orders are used in parliamentary procedure to allow someone from proceeding on a wrong premise. The first is that I know you raised the whole Coach Halgrimson thing to gain sympathy because you know we all love Coach Halgrimson. Hold on, sir. Hold on.
I'm just going to put up a comment. Hold on.
No, please, sir. Please, sir. Please, sir. Don't distract. Coach Halgrimson's matches that he lost were friendly internationals to which he indicated prior to that we are not looking for results. We are looking to evaluate players. So the expectation and the goal of those games were clear. He then said, in the Nations League, this is my first competitive match. I am going there to compete and get a result in order for us to progress. Yes, we fell at the final hurdle, but no one can doubt that we got an acceptable result. So please do not drag Coach Halgrimson into it looking for pity points, right? Hold on. No, sir. You are the...
Cataract. Here's the thing, Cataract. I'm not going to deal with this on my channel. I'm not going to deal with this. When I brought in Coach Hal Grimson, which stupid person, which idiot, which dunce could really believe that Manning's man is saying Coach Hal Grimson for fire? Come on, no man, make we reason. Me not deal with them thing up on my channel, bro. Me can't deal with it. And how could anybody ever believe that me a come on my platform say Coach Hal Grimson for fire? Say Coach Hal Grimson and Fuzzy then up on the same level. And friendly game. How could we how we reach us with the reasoning? So I'm gonna have them discussion here now. Because people already have their mind and them heart set away and them go talk what they want to talk. So it don't make no sense we go any further with the discussion because I don't want to get disrespectful. Make we end it and talk about some different thing. Because all I am saying to you is that you cannot use 4 games and say a coach will get fired. That cannot be the premise for firing a coach. That's all. That's why I said Hal Grimson after 4 games. If that is what we are using, if that is what we're using, so make we change the discussion. Might as well change this. I'm going to give you time to finish. I'm going to give you 20 minutes for you alone to talk. And no, man, I'm not going to say anything, Cataract. I'll give you 20 minutes. So for anybody to come on my platform, I come talk about me, I compare Hal Grimson and me want Hal Grimson fire. Relax on yourself, man. So you take your 20 minutes and you talk.
No, it's not a monologue. And I think the comment was unfortunate, but you also advised me that sometimes I mustn't get distracted by a single comment. So I would offer the same gospel to you that you don't get out because of one loose comment. So I hope that I am not the person who said it. I hope it's the commenter, because I would never say that you were saying that Coach Hal Grimson to be fired. What I was saying was that there was some folly in your comparison, because for one, Coach Hal Grimson's the objective of his games were made clear prior to, and he achieved those objectives. He was able to evaluate the players, see who was fit for further call-up, right? And in the instance, we are talking about playing against the world champions. So who could be saying that a coach could be fired for losing a game? And certainly Coach Fuzzy nor Coach Marion have never come up against the world #1 World Cup holder team. That has not happened. So there's no doubt on it. I am on the screen, so I want to be absolutely clear. Cataract, Team Cataract, every single ultra in Jamaica is 100% standing beside Coach Hal Grimson on his project. We are here for him in the games that losses will come, because this is a process, and we are here with him to celebrate the positive results like we got against Mexico, and we are here to celebrate the positive display of football that we saw in the Azteca. No man to Coach Hal Grimson thing right about now. Nobody with it. Back to the discussion, man. I do only 20 minutes. I like to have a discussion. It's not a monologue. I'm saying to you that at 25%, what was the objective of the coach, given to the coach and agreed with the coach prior to entering upon the reference of the contract? And if the objective was simply to qualify out of a group in which you are the highest ranked nation in the World Cup, sorry, in the FIFA rankings, we were the highest ranked nation, and including 2 nations, one that don't even play football really, because they are a department of France, and the other who is so lowly ranked, it's unbelievable. If that was the bar set between the federation, the technical committee, and the coach, then we have to question the technical committee. And I don't believe that's what we are questioning. In the case of the under-17, we listened to a press conference at which you were present on Zoom, and we heard the coach and his assistants state clearly and assure the fans that the team selected, in his opinion and in his best judgment, was the team that was able to do the job of qualifying, not win the competition, of qualifying, finishing in the top 4. And therefore, he has to be held accountable. You understand? That's my thing. And I'm saying the ruthlessness of club football, so I think you have made 2 poor comparisons, Banning, is that the club football is played on a weekly basis, and so you will see a greater frequency of coaches fired. What I was looking at is what sort of results lead to a coach being fired in terms of ruthlessness, and what sort of latitude a coach is given to fail to achieve a club's objective. Now, clearly, Graham Potter was told to qualify for the Champions League. Otherwise, it has serious implications for Chelsea's bottom line and the whole financial fair play of which they are teetering on the brink. And so, having spent 300 million, I don't think he was asked to win the Premier League, but he was certainly asked to qualify the team for the Champions League. And sitting in 11th, they took the decision. We're not going any further with this project. And he was entitled, at the time he was fired, my readings are 50 million pounds, right? So they were willing to take a 50 million pound hit on the bank book. That's the level of ruthlessness for accountability. That is my case at only 20 minutes, and I'm saying that comparable levels of ruthlessness and accountability ought to be shown by the technical committee of Jamaica, right? The same that was applied to Coach Theodore Whitmore. When you fail to qualify for your World Cup, your job and your tenure is brought to an end. Should apply across the board. And the last thing, man, when you compare a coach who is in the World Cup and saying that if he doesn't get out the round of 16 in the World Cup with the 32 best nations sort of across the world versus not getting out of the round of 16 in a qualifier, that, my friend, respectfully, is a bad comparison. Borders on lunacy, because the level of the teams that you fail to navigate are much lower in a qualifier than they are in the actual World Cup. So this is not the under-17 qualifiers that he failed to get, the under-17 World Cup group stage that he failed to the under-17 round of 16 in the World Cup. This is at the qualifying stage, which is at a much lower level. I'll let the other panelists.
Brian, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mannings. Good morning, Catara. Good morning to the persons who are watching. Firstly, Mannings, because I have to start off with a little bit of thing from the past. So, Demo, anybody for the last show, Demo. Mr. Jason said something in the comments, so we'll make some checks, Demo. And you report them creditably, but the jury's still out on Devonport and Mannings. Up to Sunday, I was, conversing with a source, and them can't record Devonport and Mannings. And that person played on the same team what Devon said play for, brother. And the man can't recall Devon. In fact, him recall the captain and him recall the other person what Devon said him open bowling with, brother. But the man can't remember Devon Porter, my boss. So him said we need to get a picture of Devon Porter. So we don't know how that's gonna work. You see? So Jason, that's what it was. But Marines, I mean, I listened to the conversation earlier. I think I tend to agree with some of the Cataract say in terms of having like a stand. I think what is needed is really a standard to be put in place that outlines how things should operate, or what is accepted or deemed to be success or failure. I mean, I heard him say that. I mean, if a coach fails to qualify for a World Cup, then he should be fired. But I think that is relative too, because the federation may deem in their own mind that failure to qualify for a World Cup may not be 100% on the purview of the coach, really. Maybe they know of other shortcomings that may have contributed to his failure, and so maybe they may be a bit lenient in that regards. So, but the thing is, on the other side of the coin, even if that is the case, we as the fans or the persons, stakeholders of the football, we don't really know. So we see a coach being appointed to coach a team to qualify for a World Cup. Coach fails, keeps his job, but we don't really know on what basis. Is it that he was dealt a bad hand to begin with, so it's unfair to judge him wholeheartedly for the performance of the team? Or is it that you're having him around for development purposes and saying, well, maybe over another cycle or by the next cycle he should be at the point that he can, get the team? Is it that he never got all the best players, and so again him start in the negative? So we need to know those stuff. But I don't have any optimism that those information will be made public anyways. I mean, the JFF people always tell you that they're a private entity until they need us to come to the stadium and pay our monies to go in, or they need us to sponsor the team or something. Outside of that, them always tell us that they are a private entity and they don't need to divulge those information to the public. So, I mean, I think maybe I think what sometimes a new person from a different environment, in the case of Coach Algrims and his staff, coming from a different background, may be able to evoke a certain level of change that is needed to help the football. I'm not so sure if by themselves they can bring forth that change. I think because a lot of the things that are needed to change the football will have to come from the JFF level in terms of an administrative perspective. So, I mean, we may very well have a very good coach who knows good formation, good tactics, good style of play, everything. But at the end of the day, we have a World Cup qualifier and we reach one day before the match because we have some flight arrangement problem, or we have some issues where not allow the coaching staff and the players to also bring out them best efforts, or we may have players a strike because of them salary, or we may have a litany of things that have occurred in the past that I don't know if Coach Algrims by himself and his team will help to change, or to help us in. I mean, I think though one of the things though is that maybe the JFF is on a mission to try and keep the coach, and so they may do a little better job in terms of getting the things fixed administratively so that they can, keep the coach. I mean, because I know he's not here for money, so clearly, so they may want to appease him in a certain regard. I think I saw an interview with him and he was lamenting about how long things take to happen, and that he may have to adjust his own mindset and belief, or his own purview as to his expectations as opposed to what he's used to in other countries where he has worked before. So I think that is also a good sign that he's not being naive and thinking that everything is going to be all smooth. But I mean, I really don't know. And also another thing too, I also think, well, I've heard the JFF persons, specifically Mr. Speed, saying that they are moving away from the policy of having coaches for development. They are picking the best coaches and for all teams. I think he said under 17 and 20. I'm not sure about below. I think they might have another 15 team or something to that effect. But they were saying that they are picking coaches who are tried and proven. And hopefully the coaches who are there now, who are local coaches, may get an opportunity to learn and to to be a part of the system and stuff. And I mean, truth be told, I think if you look at it from a realistic perspective, I think the last two youth coaches, um, I just think that they were out of sorts in a sense because we are going to a competition to play against countries who have coaches who are A license or pro license coaches, and we are going to a B license coach who don't have any experience at the international level, and we expected them to go there and to to overthrow those other coaches. I almost thought that it was going to be next to impossible. It turned out that way. So hopefully with the experience, I mean that they are, and I've seen where Coach Algrim seems to be a very inclusive person. I mean, he's had meetings with the Premier League coaches already on a few occasions. Even goalkeeper coaches have had sessions with our national goalkeeper coach. So I think if the coaches are willing and and want to, the information that they seek is there for them to get, and it's just a matter of them to absorb the information and try to use it back at their clubs and schools or wherever they are coaching, and hopefully that will help to improve the football to an extent.
All right. We have a call online. Thanks, Brian. All right. Caller, welcome to the show. Good morning. Yeah, man, I'm here. What say you? Yeah.
We're
You
not
can
hearing the
you
caller.
have to go a little louder. We're not hearing you,
We're
so
not hearing the caller.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
No, Mannings, I don't think you connect the thing well because you're not hearing any at all.
They're not hearing your caller. Let me see if we can sort this out. Oh, let me call him. Let me see if I can get back the call. I don't know what is happening.
Why you try to connect? And Brian, the thing is that on one hand we hear of transparency, but then it's appears to me that it's selective transparency, right?
All right, tell me. Go ahead, call. Let me see if we're hearing you now.
Yeah, you hear me better now?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Hello? Okay, awesome. All right, the thing is, though, Mannings, with regards to these coach and the performances, you see, we as a society on a whole, we don't really have a culture of responsibility and people be taking, accountability for their actions. So this is a direct reflection of us as a people. You understand me? And sometimes it's hard to separate the football from society because these are the same people who are being put in these positions. You understand me? And when you have poor management for extended period of time, like for example, my wife recently got promoted to management in her company. And she literally burst out in tears this morning because what? The staff are so used to having their own way with the previous management. You understand me? That her trying to get them just to do the simple things, which are company policy, is a struggle. You understand me? It's like the same thing with even the JFF. They have been having such poor management over these years that to get simple things implemented. You understand me? It's gonna be a serious struggle, and somebody really have to come in and put down them foot seriously and say, listen, this is what is expected of you. You understand me? No last minute preparation for flight, no last minute preparation for hotel, and all these things. And that is how you're gonna get changes. Because if you don't get changes from the top, it is hard to really hold coaches accountable. You understand me? If you have a competition coming up, and 3 years prior, you're gonna have that competition, and you put nothing in place until 2 months before. How then are you gonna wholly and solely, you understand me, hold that coach fully accountable for ill performances? You understand me? And we as fans, sometimes we allow them to develop our expectation on a false premise, telling us, oh yeah, we have a good team and we expect to get a good result. On what basis? When you just took camp 2 months ago and at 3 years now, you know, so the competition supposed to go on. On what basis? A wishful thinking, with depending on the delinquency of the other team, because that must be what you're looking for. You understand, my brother? So it's a top thing need to fix and go right down to the level for the footprint. Respect.
All right, respect caller. Thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, man.
All right, so I always for me, let me just break down a couple of things, right? I heard Cataract, I heard Miguel, and I listened to Brian. All right, because let me say as a couple. First thing, let me give a couple of definitions, and then one, ignorant. It means lacking knowledge or awareness in general. An ignorant person is uneducated, right? And so the person who use ignorant to how I spoke, the correct word is arrogant if you want to say that, but not ignorant, all right? So that's number one. Number two, when you talk about temperament, I'm a sanguine, right? For those of you who understand the four major temperaments: sanguine, choleric, phlegmatic, melancholic, all right? So I'm a sanguine. So you go and figure out how sanguines, what they call the negative and the positive of that and work it out. So let's come back to this because we're having a conversation about the EPL, talking about the managers that were fired and the ruthlessness in the managers that were fired, right? And it is the same ruthlessness that we need in firing managers of our national team. That's how Cataract came there. I am being told that though Cataract really started it, using the EPL firing to say why our manager should be fired. Because at no point, let me say it again, did I say the managers should not be fired? At no point. The issue is when you're going to fire someone, there's a pathway to the decision in management. And let me say it again. If you're going to fire someone, it cannot be based on four matches because you're setting a precedence. Everything must be contextualized. The coaches should have been evaluated. And in that evaluation, number one, the process of selection was flawed. I said that. The play of the team was underwhelming. Number two, and that was because of the poor selection. Therefore, on that premise, we can fire the coach. Because, let me say it again, there is no proof any of us have. None of us have any proof that if other players were there, the results over the 4 games would be different. We have no proof. But the 4 games could have gone the same way and the coach kept his job. Because like Brian says, other factors. That's for the U17 and the U20. I brought Hal Grimson in because 4 games were mentioned. And if you use the precedence of 4 games, then you're going to have to bring it across unless you contextualize it. So I don't know how we gone into a whole bag of things because, like, how we gone this up? When all of us agree that the coaches, the process that led to the end was flawed, and based on that, the coach is supposed to be fired. All of us agree. I have not heard one person who has said that the coaches must keep them jobs. Not one. Nobody, no comment section, no vlogger,
So I don't even know how we debating if they should be fired. How we having a conversation about them being fired when everybody agree that they should be. What we don't agree on is what we use to determine that they should be fired.
So Mannings,
Great.
we weren't
So let
hearing you
me finish.
in the last
So,
part.
so let me make this final point. The under 20 coach was removed from the duty of being the under 20 coach. This has been announced, you know. Cataract and I did a show where we spoke about the fact that there's a new under 20 coach. From last year, it was announced that John Wall is the person. So if there's a new under 20 coach, the man who was coaching the team has been removed from the position. Number one. Secondly, it has through the grapevine and on these platforms that the under 17 coach is no longer in the job as the under 17 coach. So I cannot understand how we are debating that the coaches should be fired if they don't have the job again. Like I think like we have
Mannings.
we have so many things that we need to, we want to talk about speed up and we are talk about things that have been done. So what we can go on and say is that, all right, outside of that, there should be banned as Jamaican citizens, or they shouldn't be done. First, they shouldn't be coaching. They should not be. We can go on to that, but we cannot be debating that the men should not be in their job because they're not in the jobs anymore. So we have to have better conversation. So there were head coaches, Marion Garden and Marcel Gale were head coaches of the U20 and the U17. One is not the U20 coach, one is not the U17 coach. That's it. All right, Ketara, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to prolong
Yeah.
any further because I'm saying that it was based on the revelation from Mr. Speed that Coach Fuzzy was still a part of the coaching staff. Now, previously, the only position that he held was that of the under 20 boys or men's national team. So I think, as I said, the conversation may better be had with the head of the technical committee, Mr. Speed, who graciously comes on these platforms, and we get some transparency to what position he's held. Because if he's no longer
he answered that on the show, Ketara, but he did.
Hold on, let me finish. If he's no longer the under 20 coach, we are aware or we're told that John Wall is now the under 20 coach. But that would mean in practicality that Coach Fuzzy was offered a new contract in a different position.
How you know that his first contract? I don't like.
No, but his contract would be for
Ketara.
Okay,
Listen,
okay.
just all I'm saying. I don't want you to speculate unless you can present me with the facts to say that he was. Don't speculate. What Mr. Speed said on the show is that part of the process of developing our local coaches is to have them around the head coach and these other coaches so they can develop. So Fuzzy he did say that, will be around the under 20 team because it is part of what they're going to use to develop him. Same thing with Marion Garden. Marion Garden is an assistant because they want to develop him. Now we can argue that he should not be the one that is being developed. We should find some other coaches. That we can argue. But I think it is okay for a national federation to have an overseas coach and then have locals around him learning and developing in those teams, because at some point the overseas coach may not or might not be around, and one of these locals having the experience probably can take a team. So that's how we communicated it. Now, that we can disagree with. We can say, listen, we don't want no local coach around none of our teams. It should be all overseas coaches, and find a way to afford it. We can move the conversation there and then discuss that. But that is what I know. Now, on the contract issue, all right, if you're saying that if Fuzzy is fired, his contract was cancelled, right? And if he's assistant, he has been given a new contract, and that we can ask Mr. Speed about. But we don't have information that you also know that because there are coaches in the JFF, it is also possible that they could still be on contracts. But the contract does not stipulate that you have to be a head coach. So they could be letting the contract run out, but move the person to be an assistant, but on the same contract. What that pay is, all of those things are questions that we don't know. And it is not good to put things out there without having the information. And we should, if you think it's something we need to ask Mr. Speed, when he's on, we can ask him. But I am not going to have a discussion about things that none of us have any facts, because people are going to walk away and say, this is what we said, when we have no facts to support the argument. But I have a caller, and then I'll come give you a chance, get her. Caller, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. My name's Bless Up.
Yeah, man. Bless up.
All right. So just something real quick. So when it comes down to these things, you see, you have to evaluate performance against whatever the goals or objectives are. Right? That's how you have to evaluate performance. This is why in companies you have KPIs, you have appraisals, and other ways and means in which you can measure performance. Right? So you need to first understand that we need to have an idea as to what were the goals and objectives of the U17 and U20 team, right? From the JFS standpoint to the coaches, right? And if it's a case where it was due to poor selection of players as to why the team wasn't able to qualify. The main objective was to qualify, and it was a case where the coach didn't select the best set of players to meet that objective, which is to qualify, right? Then that has to be taken into consideration when evaluating whether a coach should retain or lose his job, right? And also, if it's a case where it is outside of the coach's duties in terms of it was from the administrative point of view, all of that would have to be taken into consideration when evaluating whether a coach should retain or lose his job, right? So you have to have clear and defined objectives and goals from the federation as to what it is that they want to achieve at the end of the tournament, right? Now, a lot of times we tend to speculate and assume that the main objective is to qualify, right? Unless the federation would have come out and said, look, this is what we want to do, and we believe that we have the best set of players to qualify us for the World Cup, right, or any of these tournaments. And if that is clear and outlined, then that is how you have to evaluate things based on.
Yeah,
Hello?
money. The caller is there.
Stefan. He's still online, but I'm not hearing him. Which is what you were saying. I think that's what I'm saying. I think all of us saying the same
Yeah,
thing.
but I want to make a point further to what he's saying, Mannings. He's saying that we are speculating, but based on the amount of resources that is put into these competitions or qualifications, and the JFF haven't always complained about resources and stuff, then I think it's a reasonable assumption to make that once they enter the competition, their goal is to qualify. I don't think that's an unfair speculation to make. I would think that that's a reasonable speculation to make.
Sir Brian, it's not a
I'm not
speculation.
saying it.
And Stefan, it's not a speculation. At the press conference,
Mm-hmm.
the coach Marion Gordon said out of his mouth, the team as selected, after going through the 20 players and telling us each about how good each was, is so composed to achieve the objective of qualifying for the World Cup.
Right.
I'm gonna go listen back the clip. I heard it. The objective of qualifying for the World Cup, that was clear, and that objective was not met. So the key performance indicator was the main performance indicator was to qualify for the World Cup. There could have been other KPIs, for example, the style of play or not losing by this or that. I don't know,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
Right.
a clear objective was set. We unlike, and I'm going to give Coach Marion Gordon this, that he held a press conference, unlike Coach Fuzzy, who didn't say anything prior to leaving or say anything after. Now, the basis of what Brian is saying is that reasonable expectations for every football team, both club and international, prior to a game or prior to a tournament, there is a press conference held. We are introduced to the team. We are told what the expectations are. Morocco didn't enter saying we are expecting to win the World Cup, and I'm supposing that 28 of the 32 teams that went to the World Cup, they had no objective of winning the World Cup. Some had objectives of coming out of the group phase. Some had objectives of reaching the
Yeah.
quarterfinals. So different teams, based on their realities, had different objectives. Now, having heard from Coach Gordon what the objective was, that's where I think. But I don't want to derail the program any further. And Manning's man is correct that, as I said before, Manning's, this is a discussion at this point best had when Mr. Speed, who is the head of the technical committee, who has responsibility for the recommendation for hiring and firing of coaches, and I would presume the job description and the key performance indicators. Because when you get a KPI, what I know, since people are use big word, if you say to me the objective is to qualify to the World Cup, I say to you, okay, in order to meet this KPI, I need 10 friendly games. I need the team to reach to Guatemala 5 days before. I need a camp in the United States and in England. What were the requirements elicited by the coach that would be needed to meet the objective? Because it's on both
Yeah,
sides of
but
the fence. Management don't just say you get this done and you don't have a laptop, you don't have a desk, you don't have an office, you don't have no electricity, but you must achieve these objectives. That's how I know it. Cool.
right. Now, but you're correct, Keter. And I'm saying, I'm not saying you're incorrect, I'm saying you're correct. But all I'm saying is that we have to measure it against, you have to measure the performance against whatever these KPIs were or the goals and objectives are. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that you're incorrect. You understand me? And if that goal and objective was clearly outlined by Mr. Gordon in his press conference, then all I'm saying is that is what you have to use to measure it against.
All right, thanks for the
You understand
call.
me?
Yeah, man. I appreciate your views as usual. Yeah, man. Good thoughts.
All right.
Yeah, man. All right.
Listen.
Bless. All right. So we're gonna move to the speed of placing, but let me say this again. All right. At the the coach, what we may believe we need to get an explanation as to why a coach is hired and why a coach is fired. Fine, I can live with people wanting that. That's cool. All right. Now, it is the same committee that the same technical committee that hired Fuzzy Meron, that hired Coach Al Grimson. So even with a flawed process, proper hires can be made because Al Grimson has done well. It's the same committee that hired Lauren Donaldson, that just hired Hugh Bradford. Now, all I'm saying is this. They have come out and said our local coaches, they have come out and admitted since the U17, our local coaches need further development. And so at our senior teams and in our U20s and U17, we are going to get the highest qualified coaches. The U20 women have Hugh Bradford, the senior team of Lon Donaldson. The men's senior team have Al Grimson, the men U20 now have John Wall. The U17s, they did say on the men's side that they have someone overseas that they're going to appoint in August. That has come out. So, are we arguing something that was or something that is? Because all of the appointments are all people with high qualification than our local coaches. What I don't agree with is that our local coaches need to go and develop themselves. They are developing themselves. I don't see anything wrong with coaches being connected to our program as assistant coaches. It's not like you're not doing anything. An assistant coach plays a role. And in that, you're learning from others. Our head coach, Hal Grimson, said that. Lon Donaldson has said that. He wants to work with the coaches locally. The senior coach have John Wall. He has a goalkeeper coach, but he still has a local coach. I can't see how people are saying that nobody from Jamaica, as long as they live in Jamaica, the people in the comment section, Cataracte can roll your iron as much as they want.
No, because I have never stated that.
No, I didn't say
Lord
you.
Brian.
There are people, but there are persons who are saying that these coaches should be far away from our football. Now, what you can say to me is that
Yeah, but
you
man, just a
hold on.
second.
You would prefer to see, as somebody can say, I'd prefer to see somebody else there.
But people
you
have
cannot
said that.
say no.
But some people have, and they said the JC coach. Some people have put other names, so they have different perspectives.
Remember, the JC coach was invited to. The JC coach is who Tapa wanted to work with. Remember, and they came out and said, but he didn't want to take the job for some other reasons with the JFF back then.
Yeah, but Mannings, I think one of the main point is not necessarily the fact that we don't want a local coach. I think persons are concerned about who are being selected for this learning experience and I think it's a fair point too that persons may be saying that these persons would have had a run already and maybe they may want other persons, especially in the case of Meran Gordon. Meran was there when Theodore Whitmore was the head coach. We are assuming that he would have been given experience from then. He was there with Paul Hall. So maybe persons may be saying, well, maybe it's time to try another person now, or give another person an opportunity at this practicum. But also, Mannings, what I disagree with you is the fact that you are saying that the coaches, well, I think you are saying that the coaches should not develop themselves.
No.
Not should not. You are saying that the exposure at the national level is good in terms of your
development. Part of your development is
but Mannings, what I'm saying is, all right, so look at this one this way, Mannings. We have on the male side we have U20 which is played every 2 years or so. We do have under 23 really. Senior team plays every year. And the under 17 World Cup, I think, is going to be held every year after the next one. So that may be a recurring event. But I'm saying, I think the onus now more than ever needs to be on the coaches to enhance their own development.
Brian, but I did say Fuzzy coaching at Waterhouse is a part of his development.
Yeah, Mannings, but Yes, it is a part of the development, you know. But the truth is, I don't think just like how we don't think playing at the Premier League level is enough alone to equip a player to be very good at international level. Equally, I don't think coaching only at the Premier League level is going to provide enough experience needed for a coach to be very good or to be able to compete at the international level. So I'm saying maybe the JFF can help the coaches in terms of using their connections to get practicums elsewhere or overseas or wherever. But I'm
but
saying the
yeah.
national teams alone don't have enough room to
No, but I
develop
didn't
all
say
the
that.
coaches,
No, but Brian, no, man, we're not saying that. No, I'm not suggesting. If you understood what I'm saying, that the national team is the only place where people. I am not suggesting that. What I will say to you is that when you have coaches like Al Grimson, John Wall, Hugh Bradford, Lauren Donaldson in your program, to not have any of your coaches locally around them to aid in their development is an issue. The
Okay,
argument,
that's a
maybe,
fair point.
maybe I am misunderstanding, but the argument I am hearing is that none of these coaches, any coach from Jamaica that is
No
already,
monies that you are missing are wrong.
so
They
one of
don't want the
You're
ones that
wrong.
are there now to be there again.
okay, so what we are saying is that given the failure, given that Fuzzy had a tournament, because this is the first time, let's look at him. Given that Fuzzy did so poorly with the U20 and he should be fired, he should not be around Jamaica's football.
No, that's not the point either. I'm saying what all right, let me speak for myself. What I am saying is I am saying I can understand why persons may feel the need that maybe another coach should be given opportunity. But Mannings, wait now. When
No,
you
man, I
say
understand that too.
Mannings, when you say should not be around the program, that's a strong term.
But people have said that. You want me to find, but people
So
have said
so
that in the
no
comments.
so so
Yeah, but
so man so
those comments
Mannings,
are few and far between, Mannings.
you are
So,
finding the
all right,
extreme. Hold on, so Mannings, you are finding the extreme, like the
all right.
far
Let's
right.
move away from
Oh,
the
hold on, hold on,
extremes.
hold on,
So
hold
hold
on.
on. Let
Don't
me
add
ask.
up. You
No, man,
nobody
I want
asked
to
the
ask the
question I
question.
wanted to answer. You asked the question and I wanted to
Just go
provide an
quickly because
answer.
we don't have a lot of time. So go ahead.
Okay. I'm saying to you, in the same way that we said the national senior men's team is not a shopping window for you to put players in to develop themselves, I think the same applies for the coaches. Now, I believe that if you are putting a coach to understudy, that is a totally different thing than when you're handing that coach the responsibility. Now, with the under 20, that responsibility had awesome implications because it meant that we not only missed out on the under 20 World Cup, it meant that a generation of players missed out on going to the
Come on.
Olympics. And
No, man.
therefore, they
No, don't go so far into them thing, them, man. Just stick to the. We are
no,
getting far, man.
no. I'm saying that they, in order to give somebody the training wheels, if you
Mm.
want to use that word, right, to train and ride a bicycle and learn to ride at that level, not say that he can't coach at any level. The responsibility and the implications of it were far-reaching. They're a generation of players who will never represent Jamaica at the Olympics. Also, you are stymieing the potential of domestic based players who were on that team who would have been given a better
No, but
window.
cataract, you're going to consequences, man.
All right.
Cataract, man. Me I tell you, say you're gone over cataract, man. No, cataract, but you're gone to consequences of his failure. We're
Yeah,
not
but
that.
I'm
Mannings, what
saying
I'm saying,
consequence of
Mannings.
the decision.
No, but further to that, Mannings, what I'm saying is I agree that you need or not need. I agree that it's not a bad idea to have the coaches from the local fraternity to be around the various teams to get the experience. What I'm not agreeing with is that in order for them to get the experience, they need to be an assistant coach. I think they can be in the program as an understudy, but me don't think them need to be assigned as an assistant coach.
Okay, all right. So let me ask again. Just so our local coaches should not be assistant coaches in our national program,
To
but they
help,
can learn from. They should
if
not be.
if if it is that they are being made assistants for their development, they shouldn't be made assistants for that. If it is that you see them with qualities that you think is good enough to contribute at the level, then you
Let me
can.
ask again. Generally, our local coaches are not good enough. We
No
don't have
money.
enough.
That's what I'm, money. That's not.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Just allow me to
All right.
say what I'm
No,
saying, and then you
all right.
understand.
Hold on. Let me ask. We just want to ask. Do we have any local coach that can coach? Yes or no?
Yes.
Give me a name. Give me a
Me
name.
nah do that.
I need somebody to give me a name of a local coach that can coach.
Me
I
nah do
need.
that, money. You know why me nah do that? You know what? You know why I'm not doing that?
Yeah.
You know why I'm not doing that? Because I know where you're going. What I'm saying, Mannings, if we have young coaches, if we have local coaches, I'm not a young. If we have local coaches who we think need to be a part of the program on an internship basis or to understudy the coaches to get information, I'm saying to you that you should not appoint the money, the EY Mannings. Why I'm saying you should not appoint them as an assistant coach. Because here why now? Let's say the coach who you appoint them as an assistant to fails. You know that the pay of the nation is going to call for the entire coaching staff to be fired. So we are going to fire an assistant coach, and from an unfair perspective, because he was not there in the realm of being a full-time assistant per se, him there to learn and to gain experience and knowledge and exposure. So that's why I say have them around the program, but not in the capacity as an assistant coach.
Okay. So our local coaches should not serve as assistant coaches.
If you are bringing them there for development, no. But
All right.
if it is
So,
that you see them as a coach who you think can contribute, then by any means appoint them as an assistant. But you can't appoint as an assistant for development.
so local coaches, remember, our local coaches are not good enough to coach
Oh,
any.
you are being
No,
inflammatory,
man,
man. You are
I'm not
being
saying that.
inflammatory.
No, man.
You
No,
are being inflammatory.
so let me ask.
And
Hold
I'm
on.
asking you
Let me
to
ask.
put
No,
down
man.
the
No,
Donald Trumpism
no, man.
before you
No.
get
Let me ask you,
indicted.
Ketera, let me ask you.
No, man, you're being like Donald Trump.
No.
You're
Is there a
gaslighting.
local coach that can coach any of coach our U20 senior or under 17 team? Yes or no? In your opinion.
Yes, I would like to think that.
So
I would agree.
you believe that there are local coaches that
Yes,
can coach
yes.
Jamaica senior team under 20 and
No,
under
not
17.
the senior team right now. Youth team.
So there are local coaches that can coach our under 20 and be successful.
Yes,
And there are local coaches that can coach our under 17 and be successful.
I agree.
Okay. So, okay. All right. So,
I disagree.
Oh, but I agree. Me agree. So Mannings, listen to me now. Mannings, hold on. Mannings, hold on. Mannings, what me don't want you to do have to confuse the situation. What I'm saying, Mannings, you see the same way how I feel about the local players and the national team, as some feel about the coach, Mannings. You see, if me see a local player, and me think him possess the quality and the ability, he can play in a team and help with, pick him. But don't pick him and tell me say him not good enough, but you are carrying there for exposure, boss. Me don't need that. Me want the man to get pick that team because they're good enough and can help with. So what me don't want it, man, is you know, what me don't want is to pick a player from club A, put him in a team to play. When he miss a crucial goal to go a World Cup, you tell me say him a development player, brother.
so what you're saying is that they are good enough local coaches that can coach our U20 and U17 team
At
by
this
themselves.
point, when they say by themselves,
No, then they're gonna be the head coach.
okay.
Mannings, Brian, I'm going to say my answer. And let me say this clearly, because I know some coaches have their view that Cataract don't want no local coach. Let me say this. The local-based Jamaican coaches have not demonstrated the ability to be impartial in their selection and identification of talent. There is always and has always been an apparent question of bias whenever these teams are selected, and which in itself is not a bad thing, except that we don't get the result that we are looking for. So I believe, in all honesty, that there may be local coaches who have the technical expertise, but do they have the holistic wherewithal to coach a national age group team with impartiality and with the ability to know that the Jamaican pool of players is wider than the Manning Cup and the Costa Cup, and not be blinkered and clouded in their judgment. For the senior team, I really don't believe that the local coaches, as are now, can command the respect of the level of professionals who are in the Jamaican national team and who we are seeking to have in the Jamaican national team. And so I believe, like Carl Brown did, those local coaches at that level should be seeking international jobs within the Caribbean, for example, building their resume at an international level, learning on the job with Cayman Islands and St. Vincent and St. Christopher and Nevis, but not learning on the job with the Jamaican national team that has an objective of reaching the World Cup. Those teams don't have that same objective. So, for example, Coach Andre Edwards, Collar, I know him as Collar from Portland, who went and was the head coach of, I think, British Virgin Islands. Correct me if I'm wrong. He went out and got experience as a international head coach, which would augur him well. And I would ask, for example, why wouldn't a coach who has coached an international senior men's team not be a part of the learning and development process? What is the criteria for selection? And I leave it there so you can go on to your other point. I have nothing else to
Coach
contribute.
Minty, me I try to call him a coach. So what I'm saying, because all I'm doing is asking questions. Remember that Coach Andrew Edwards got an under 17 team, that many people thought should have qualified that didn't. So the point I'm making is that, right?
Yeah, Mannings, but first you have to clarify that. Because Andrew Edwards' team missed the World Cup by a player missing a penalty. You can't blame him for that.
But exactly, no, the mercy. That is my point. And he was relieved of the job as the under 17 coach.
Yes, but he was also way less experienced at that time too than he is now.
Let me finish the point I'm making.
All right, sorry.
Let me just finish the point. So the idea that, okay, discard them after games cannot be the solution. Like you just said, the context of how he got knocked out should have said to somebody that this guy has quality. Let us work with him. Subsequent to that, he goes away. All right? When Marcel Gill, and let me say it again, when Marcel Gill got the job, it was based on his local success with Waterhouse and with St. George's working with Neville Bell. A lot of persons, before he got there, felt like he would have done a good job. A lot of persons. There weren't many objections to him until it got to the players not being there and the players not being selected and the issues. Go back and listen. A lot of people were on the wagon saying that this guy has worked with Neville Bell at St. George's. He had a Waterhouse team that was playing some good football and he should have continued, or he should have gotten the job. It is when he got the team and we heard that this player not going to be there that many persons had issues. And so my position is, I believe that our senior team should have the highest quality coach. available to us. That person obviously will be from overseas. Same thing with our under 17, under 20. And like I've said, our under 17 team should have one of the former reggae boys, and I've said this over and over again, coaching at the highest level with high qualifications. In those teams, however, I believe it is good for us to also find some of the local coaches who are excelling in their jobs and put them in the mix to grow and learn. They will have other jobs. They will go and do courses on their own. But if you have a pro coach at your national level, a pro coach at your under 20, a pro coach at your under 17, personally, I do not see how having your better local coaches in the system as they're coaching teams and learning, I cannot see how that is going to destroy your football, how that is going to be a problem, how that is unwarranted. I don't see that happening. Now, what we can argue is who that person should be. Some person will say, bring Lenny Hyde. And next man will say, bring Jackie Walters. And next person will say, bring Donovan Ducky. And next person will say, bring what's his name? That was at JC years ago. Miguel Coley. And next person will say, bring
After when I
David.
was to bring unseen.
And next person. So people have different opinion. But it cannot be that we are trying to build a program, to build football. And we're saying that these guys are not even good enough to be an under 17 assistant coach. And we have them coaching our Premier League. If we cannot find one coach in Jamaica to be an assistant coach in our U17, we should stop playing football as
No,
a nation.
Manage, I know you're going to get to the gaslighting point, but I find it interesting that you mentioned former reggae boys and coaches, but yet not once did you mention, maybe as some people have said, Dion Burton could have been brought on a sabbatical, and he, in fact, if you recall, I think it was on Crystal and Palawa Sports, said he's available if wanted. Right? I recall that. Hold a minute. Hold a minute.
But me not understand how we gone here so now with Dion Burton and names. Me not call nobody. Whose name me call? Me not call no name.
Yes, you did. You went to Miguel Coley, and you gave a set of names. Hold on. Let me address. Let me address that.
Brian, please. But you missed the point I'm making. I said to you, the under 20 team, the under 20 team.
Under 20, under 17, we're talking about.
No, listen to Cataract. I said, I believe the senior team must have the highest qualified coach. That is someone not in Jamaica. Same thing for the under 20, not in Jamaica. Same thing for the under 17, not in Jamaica. You can now find assistant coaches, people like Miguel Coley, Davian Ferguson, to work. That is what I said. So I don't understand how you put
hold on. I'm saying to you, no one has. I apologize. There's a pattern in here, so I would have misspoken. So I apologize. But I am wondering what has happened to my compadre management, and I'm wondering if there's someone at the residence. Could the member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force please go to the address at Richmond and check if somebody is holding management who we know to be. I am calling the JCF to check.
This one have to leave, man. You have to.
Because something not go wrong. Something I'm not the sports there. 100 meters not go right. I don't manage. This does sound like you. Somehow I know we differ, but it's like in the paradigm. So we just want the best for Jamaica, and I'm saying we having gotten the objective, there should be accountability for it.
Yeah, man. But but here's what is happening. And this is one of the things you have to be very careful of when you're on the platforms. And as a brethren, I want to say this because too often what happens, you take a one conversation and you go down a path, and you don't realize it, You don't realize that you have a lot of influence over what you said. I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. I'll give you a perfect example. Now, I'm going to show you a comment. And look what you and I are discussing. and hear this comment, you don't realize sometimes that when you take what a person says and it goes a next way, it created that already. Remember, Ketara, months ago, when you were not really regular on this panel, we spoke about the senior coach being Hal Grimson, the under 20 coach being John Wall, and who the possible under 17 coach is going to be. The under 17 coach is not a local person, is a former reggae boy who lives overseas, which we personally believe, our management believe, it is the way to go. Now, when you bring Dean Burton in it and say to me, who interviewed Dean Burton, who spoke to him, and to say or to suggest that I am not calling Dean Burton name, here is what happened. Listen to this. No, Keter, more you read the comment because you don't realize sometimes when you speak, you have people that whatever channel you go on, they follow you. And when they follow you, they follow what you say. And when it comes out of your mouth, they dismiss everything else. You have to be careful of that. That's all I'm saying to you. And because when they come on the platform, they keep on doing this thing where they take what you say, because at no point, did I mention who was going to coach the under 17. So all I'm saying to you, Bridget, you have to be careful because you have a fan base. You have a fan base that anything you say, I saw it go for them. You realize that. So you cannot take lightly what you say.
I am not taking anything lightly. I am cautious in my thing. You and I have had a discussion in
No,
Cayman here. I can't banter with nobody. I can't run no joke. I can't drink no white rum for my company.
no.
All these things. So I am a coffee. Yeah, but liquor white instead of the coffee though. A coffee may I drink. So I'm alert, right? Brain drain is here. Because you
No.
told us. No, but
So
seriously, as I don't run, sorry, Brain Drain, I don't run the joke. I speak seriously. I'm saying what we want to get to, and why it hurts me and the public so much is because we know what the implications are for the failure to progress and to qualify, and we felt that there ought to be, if they held the press conference and Coach Marion Gordon said, look, based on the mess up with the visas and players getting there the night of the game, and I think I am rescoping the objective, and I believe that we will come out of the group but get knocked out early, and nobody can argue with him. All I am asking for in the future, and I will wait to see what happens in the future, is that care and attention is paid to the hiring of coaches who gets the position. Because let me tell you this, Marines, we don't know what the level of pay for this position is. So say, okay, the assistant coach, nobody knows how much he gets paid. And I believe that if those sums were known, then the comfort with which some people have said, okay, boss a man, give a man a boss so he can go and work on him craft and pay him, and I've been responsible, 10 million Jamaican dollars a month or a year to work on him craft is a different perspective than people would have as if, okay, my man is getting a stipend and him is working on his craft. So the level of transparency and we would like to know as a country what the objective is when a coach is hired and when a coach is put into a position, so that we can objectively and not subjectively evaluate a coach's performance. I end there, and
okay, so I hear you. I hear what you're saying. So the JFF need to tell us how much the coaches are being paid, and that you believe would help.
no, the level. I mean, if you're hiring a man on a full-time salary who is a part-timer, then people have different questions. If you're hiring a
No.
full-time assistant coach, what is the expectation? You don't only walk and give salary.
No.
Remember, we said that the other day about when you said, boy, you just come and announce a 10 million in the church. If you say, I am paying a coach $1 million a year to come to the training session and look on and take
No.
notes,
All right,
is
so
a difference.
we need to,
Right.
let me just, because I like to find out what. So let me go slow. So what needs to happen is that the coaches, you need to clearly state their objective to the public, and you need to declare to the public what their salaries are.
So, and let me just make a statement. And I responding to someone who said a public entity. Look here.
No man.
There's an audited financial statement at which salaries are made available. The salaries of head coaches and players are not secret anywhere in the
All right.
world.
No, so
I can understand that
just
Jamaica.
answer what me ask you now, so me can go on. No, man. You not answer what me ask you. Me just
I
ask you. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm
no,
asking you.
I'm not arguing. I'm just
No,
saying the KPIs,
but
the performance
no,
objectives,
but
the
Ketara,
the
all right.
terms and reference. Let me put it
I
this way: the
agree with
terms and reference of the hire should be made public.
Ketara. Oh, so the terms and agreement of the hirings should
Yes,
be made public, which
yes,
is
sir.
including the objectives clearly outlined and the salaries of the coaches clearly outlined. That is
And
what you're suggesting.
and I go a step further to help you. You don't have to give the man salary down to the dollars and cent. In many cases in the public sector, you know the band, so you know that
Okay.
they're being hired in a band.
You know, you need, all right. So let me go over the question, and then, because we need you to answer so we can move on. All right, because you still don't answer, just a band. All right. So what you are saying is that the JFF need to make it public when they're hiring coaches what their objectives are and what the scale of salaries are for
Yes,
the
sir.
coaches. All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So let's
If
move.
if
All right.
if they don't wish to give the exact figure, which is not a problem.
All right. So let me go over again and ask the question so we can come down. So the JFF needs to make it public when they are hiring coaches what the objectives are for the coach and what the salary range is at if they don't want to make the specific salary public. All right. And that you believe if that is done, then the coaches would be more honest in their team selection.
No, I'm saying that that transparency would give the intelligent public a basis for evaluation of a coach. Now, when I say terms and reference, let me say terms and reference.
All right.
Remember
No,
when Brian
let
spoke
me just
earlier,
stick
I
to
said
this.
to you,
So if you hear, hold on, if you hear that Coach Hal Grimson gets 10 million Jamaicans a month, all right, would you rate him differently based on what happened in Mexico? If you were getting 1 million a month?
okay, I thought we agreed that we were not bringing Coach Halgrims into this. So let me give you
I'm
an
just
let me
asking. All
so
right,
let me
let
give
me
you an
finish with you.
example. Let me give you an example.
So, no, all right. All right.
If I heard
Mhm.
that Coach Fuzzy was paid $10 million Jamaican a month, I would go and make a citizen's arrest at the next Waterhouse match.
Uh, uh,
Right. So I'm saying is the context. If
so, so,
if we
all right,
heard he was doing it
let's stick to that.
voluntarily.
So let's stick to that. Here's where you and I differ.
Okay.
Regardless of what Coach Marcel Gale or Marion Garden were getting, even if they were getting $1 for their salary a month, based on what I saw, there is enough grounds for them to still lose their jobs. Because I don't think what I saw on the field had nothing to do with their salary. I don't need to know. It would be good to know, but I don't need to know the salaries that they're earning to determine that they were woefully inadequate in the selection of players and how the team played. Because more salary or showing your salary don't make you a better coach. Even if the public know how much money you get, if you're a bad coach, you're a bad coach. In fact, I don't think if a person greedy for money and them getting 10 million, them not going to try to collect money to get a player to play. Because they don't have a salary problem, they have a money problem. So I think that it is based on the evaluation of their performance. And I think their evaluation was poor. So whether or not the salaries are exposed or not, our transparency is good. Transparency is good enough. And I'm all for transparency. I'm all for transparency. But exposing the salary of the coaches, to me, bears little relevance given what I'm seeing on the field.
Okay, so here's the thing about it, and I said to you, you have this thing where you use an inflammatory word, exposing. No.
Go,
Relay the salary of a coach, right? So the only thing that bad that can happen is like I say, when a man say, Coach Al say I get $1 million US, I beg him $2 when I see him for go and help out a thing. That's the only thing you could be running from. However, worldwide, it is a good practice. And it's the practice. I don't know if it's good or bad that the salary of players. We know that Manchester United is offering Marcus Rashford £400,000.
no man, let's talk to national team scatter. Just keep it there, please. Somebody see it.
All right, so we know it's 8 million a year. Gareth Southgate gets. And
Okay.
we knew that if he had when he reached the Euro, he was at 6 million, and we know that he was going to get 2 million addition to extend to the World Cup. So you know these salaries when coaches are hired. The question is, do we know what the objectives are and when a crucial competition is going to happen? Do we know what the coach has requested? And the fact is that the coach ought to say that this is my plan. Rene Simone said he needed 50, was it 50 games or 30 games before, 20 games before the World Cup, friendly matches. He told us how much he needed. And we knew that these games that we were getting were part of a bigger objective. So I just believe it.
All right. So listen, Ketterer. Transparency is important. The JFF needs to be transparent financially. Our politicians, all the public sector,
But they have to, because there's an integrity commission.
Right? Everything. Nothing is wrong with that. My point is, I do not believe that knowing how much salary our coaches get changes my evaluation of them when they are coaching the team. That is my point. When I want to know the coach's salary, I want to know that because I want to know how the JFF is doing financially. What happens on the field, if I free the coach I do a job for, and the team not performing well, and he's selecting the wrong players, he must be fired. I don't need to have no clue of the salary. That's all I'm saying. So I don't care if you're doing the job free, you're doing it for $10 or $10 million. Listen, a few seasons ago, you think I care how much Arteta was getting? If him don't win the Premier League title and this year again, then for run him away. I don't care if him getting the same as Pep or less than as Pep. It don't matter to me. What matters to me is when you get the team to coach. So I said, listen, remember I said this, I don't care, because you take the job. If you're not getting the right money, don't take the job. I said that about Tapper. Tapper, listen, if you ask the JFF for $10 of football and then give you one, Don't come make no excuse. Because it no matter to me. You take the job. And once you have the job and you take it knowing all the failures, you have no more issues with me. Now I'm going to judge you on the team's performance. So the need for
You are right.
transparency
You are
has
right.
nothing to do. The need for transparency has to do with the finances of the Jamaica Football Federation. Where are they spending the money? Why are we concerned when we know that there has been no coach in the Caribbean, probably except for Schaefer? Not even Rene Simons did get him answer. I'll put it to you that 90% of the coaches don't get what them answer, but them take the job. So when
So
you take that job, don't tell me that you never get the right pay. I don't care. Don't tell me that you ask for 50 much and you get 40. Leave the job.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't quite work like that. It doesn't quite work
That's
like
for
that.
you.
No, it doesn't
Let
quite
me tell you
work
this.
like that because
Let me
what
tell you this.
happens is when you
Chapter-
get your
Let me just say this one thing. You see, when me call the painter to paint my house, I say, brother, a one roll I may have, you know. A one roll I may have. And me I pay you this per $1,000 per square, whatever. And it come up to 60,000. You want the job? That me I pay you, you know. Yes, one time the job done. If adequate, me no care, because he signed something, say him go take what me I go give him. Him can't come tell me, say, hey, because me did ask a 10 roller and you give me one, why do like that? No way. You should not have signed the contract, brother.
yeah,
That's my position. Go ahead.
all right. So I'm not going to belabor the point. But I'll say this to you: if you ask the man, if I come to paint your house and you say you pay me 1,000 per square foot, and I tell you I'm going to do it in 5 days, and you only give me one roller when I told you I need 5 rollers to finish in 5 days, you can't come and tell me that you're not paying me because I didn't finish on time. Because when you go to a court or a tribunal, you lose. The issue about the salary mannings is that we know that person should be compensated relative to their qualifications and compensated relative to the expectations. So, for example, a coach at Leeds United is paid a lot less than a coach at Manchester City because Leeds United is not expected to qualify for the Champions League. Leeds United is not expected to win the Premier League, which would then bring you in greater resources to your coffers. So we are expecting a coach to qualify for the World Cup to bring in the $9 million, which is what we need an injection of, the only injection, Stefan, right, in order to deal with the development of our program. So, man, is all things are related, and there's cause and effect in many different places, right?
Yeah,
In
Keter,
many
you're a university
different
student,
places. Pardon me?
You're a university student, all right?
No,
Just
no,
say
no,
it.
no, sir. I'm a graduate.
Yeah.
You were clear on your definitions earlier, sir. I am not a schoolers.
So
Man,
there.
a
So
graduate.
you understand the
Put
difference.
a respect power here.
You
Yes, sir.
understand the difference between causation and correlation.
Oh, yeah. You want to go there?
All
You
right.
sure you want to go there?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go there because you
All right.
understand that there's a difference between causation and
Forward this.
correlation. All right. How the team performs on the field, cataract, has nothing to do with the coach's salary if he takes the job, knowing that that is the salary. Let me take Peter. Peter, welcome to the show because we soon close now. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Hey, man, my problem with all of this thing is I don't like the fact that these coaches, Miran Gardens specifically, and Fuzzy, that we don't get a press conference or something when they come back and report after after the tournament. Come back and tell the people what happened and take some questions. I believe it's when I look at these local coaches, I believe a lot of them have a certain amount of arrogance about them that they feel like they don't have to talk to us or the media. And it's really an insult to us, the fans, because, for instance, with me, by listening to your platform and others, I've heard of something that didn't go so well with the under 17, to put it mildly. And so that leaves me with a bitter taste in my mouth, that I don't even like this person named Miran Garden. Not that I liked him before, but I have a certain amount of disdain for him from what I heard. I never saw all the games, but I remember watching one of the games where one coach coached one half and another coach coached the other half. I mean, these are questions that need to be answered. And so I believe that it should be mandated by the JFF that a conference be done prior to these tournaments by the coach and afterwards. They can't just go down there and fail and come back and this man is still around our national team. Where's the punishment? I don't want to see him around the senior national team. If him fails so miserably with the under 17 and even an off the field incident, why is this man around my senior national team? I don't get that.
Yeah.
And that's my problem.
Yeah,
I
and
have
that
with
and
all
that I can understand, because the big question, Peter, would be where is he? Where is he ranked? He's not the first assistant. He's not the second assistant. So where, you understand me? Where is he in terms of
Right.
the level? Because remember, no, I'm not advocating, because I think, like I said, given the performance, the pool of players that were available to him that he could have selected, and the failure to do so, that is enough grounds to fire him. What I don't agree with is that, okay, it is 4 games, you had two. No, I don't even get, I don't need to go there. The process that led to the failure is enough for me to say the very process was a failure, so you need to lose this job. All right? I think he needs to, and I agree with you, he needs to come and speak. But whether he speaks to the media or not, I think there should be consequences. That I agree with. All right? But here's the thing. So, here's my position though, Peter, with on the matter of the salary. So,
Yeah.
I interview you for a job. I said, listen, we are able to pay you $250,000 Jamaican dollars to coach our under 17. We want to qualify for the World Cup. You say, yeah, man, I can do that and I have no issues with the salary. You take the salary, you know our objective. You cannot come at the end of that process and say to me, boy, you never paid me enough money. There is no correlation between your salary and the team performance. None whatsoever.
Is that what he did?
No,
That's what
that's
he did?
it. Yeah? No, he
Is
didn't.
that what he did?
Yeah, no,
Mannings,
he didn't
Mannings,
do that. But Kesharat is here.
Sir Peter, hold on. What this is, Mannings and Peter, you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And that your performance has some correlation to your job satisfaction. No, I am sure
No,
that, for example, hold on, I am sure, for example, that when Coach Halgrimson was interviewed by Mr. Speed et al., at nowhere in there did they tell him that Jamaica has the craziest set of fans. And the head of the Ultra is a madman named Cataract, who is going to say that you're going to beat Trinidad by 7-love and motivate them to come and beat you over by a sandpit in St. Catherine Hall. So sometimes in an interview, Mannings, when you take a job, you are not given all the parameters that may affect your performance. And so you have the if me did know syndrome, as we call it in Jamaica. If me did know this, me not ask for this, because it's infinitely more possible. But your salary doesn't by itself affect your performance, but your job satisfaction and comfort therein
Kesharat.
has some correlation to your
Your satisfaction.
performance, good
So
sir.
let's go again. Ketara. So the Maslow hierarchy of need, right? It has psychological safety,
Thank God
loving
for
being,
Google.
and esteem, and I think
Yes,
self-actualization. Don't
self-actualization.
at the
Self-actualization
not
is
sex,
the
not sex,
highest.
not sex,
Self, self,
self-actualization. Thank you,
self
sir. Thank
is there.
All right. No, I don't know how that fit into Mary our Fuzzy's salary and anything. Because here's the thing. Um, all of these things, all of these things are already in place in his life before he took the job. He was an assistant coach to the senior national coach. This is no legit connection, not from Iran Garden. And this is why he has no excuses whatsoever. None whatsoever for the performance of the team. None. Not even salary. Because he didn't need the job. He is a trained teacher. He coaches in the Da Costa Cup.
He's a full-time teacher.
Full-time teacher. He coaches in the Da Costa Cup. He coaches with the national team. This is just additional income. This don't apply to him.
And Manningsman, you are correct. Let me say this, and this is my last statement on it until I am able to speak to Mr. Speed and we dissect this properly, right? So that the fans can get over the hurt. I believe Coach Marion Gordon, in his heart of hearts and mind of minds, believed he could take an all-star team of Manning and the Costa Cup players to Guatemala and qualify for the Under 17 World Cup.
Yeah.
Period. Because he believes that those players are of superior quality to those in the region, and they are of superior quality to those players in the diaspora. I believe in his heart of heart, he believes that. Coach Fuzzy, I have a different perspective on that. And so I believe that Coach Gordon chose the team that he felt, quite honestly, was going to go there and I would dare say win the competition based on his coaching expertise, etc. But you have a caller.
Yeah, man. Peter, go ahead, Peter, and you can wrap up your call.
Yeah, I mean that's really the gist of my call because I don't know where this arrogance comes from because we even saw it in the press conference where Earl Bailey was trying to tell Al Grimson that well he wasn't telling Al Grimson, he was telling the audience that and the reporters that they're only going to answer questions about Mexico game coming up, and the coach in a nice way, put Earl Bailey in his place. He said, no, we just had a Trinidad game, 2 games against Trinidad, so we have to report on that. And that is the kind of professionalism that these local coaches don't have. They think they can just go and come and just willy-nilly, you know? No, don't have to talk to anybody. So I don't know where this arrogance comes from. I have a 9-year-old, and maybe one day he'll play for Jamaica. Look, yeah. That's it. I'll continue with this.
Yeah, man. All right, Peter, respect. Thanks for the call as usual. All right. Hey, Coach Minzy, I can't get back to you, you know, when I know what happened. You know, I saw my friend from Trinidad calling. See if we can call him back, and then we're gonna have to make a step. People, so we're gonna have all right. Sir Andre. Hello? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
You're listening to the thing in the background, man.
Yes. Yes. hold on. I'm listening to the conversation. Yeah, listening to the conversation, and I think it's an important conversation, but I think it probably might need some balance. Um, I'm not so sure. We're talking about what the coaches might agree to for salary, and I agree with you. If you accept the job at a particular price, you are expected to perform the job at that price. But and you can talk about Jamaica. I speak about Trinidad. It's in those you can speak it too because I'm sure you have seen it. But I'd ask you, uh, is there does the coach's experience not being paid despite agreeing for a salary maker? Do they have that experience?
Oh, that's a good question. No, that is a problem. If you're not being paid when you negotiate a salary, I suspect that may have happened. I don't know if recently. I can't say it is a case with the under 17 team and the national team right now. But I know in the past there would have been problems with payments because even the players weren't getting pay. So I suspect the coach Theodore Whitmore, there were times when he was not paid when he was supposed to be paid. I can't say it is happening right now. Andre?
So I think what has happened for the coaches contracts to BNP, I started to look into what might be the psychological effects of coaches
Oh,
not
you
being
sound.
paid,
I mean, we're not
being
hearing it. We're
underpaid,
not
or
hearing
being
it
paid late.
clearly. We're not hearing it clearly.
I'm I'm not sure why. I'm further away from you right now, but I'm not sure why.
Yeah, man.
Is it better
I saw you at the Emirates yesterday. You're at the game.
on Saturday? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
at the game on Saturday.
yeah. I saw you sitting down. And I mean, after the second goal, it was you.
I don't know who you saw. I was at the game. Yeah.
What
but
does a caller attending a match at Arsenal have to do with the quality of his intervention on I Am Sure Sports?
You have 7 minutes to remind Cataract
hey,
of that. Andre.
yeah.
No, sir. Only 4 minutes. Only 4 minutes.
Well, let me make this point quickly. We could pick up on that another time. I started to look into what might be the psychological effects of coaches in particular being underpaid or not being paid on time or being paid late. And while I'm not a psychologist by trade, I read what other people think. And one of the things, among a list of things, is low self-esteem. Right, is one thing that comes out of having the experience of being underpaid. Um, it, as people begin to question their own worth and their own value, right? They feel sometimes as though they are not respected, right, and valued by the people that employ them, and it will have a negative impact on their overall performance, right? And that's one thing among others. So I think it's an important topic that needs some balance on both sides. Yes, I think we know that coaches, for example, um, at the top level in the Premier League, 40, 50,000 pounds a week, whatever the case they make. I think the coach's salary is one thing, but the environment overall, whether or not they get paid on time, so that we can hold them accountable for the job that they were hired for. I think we need that balance in the conversation.
Very important. That I can agree with. If you're saying that, well, you're not being paid on time, you're not getting your money, then you may be demotivated to do the job.
Yes, that is one of the effects.
Yeah,
That's one of the
that can be an
psychological
effect
effects.
of it, right? But here's the thing, though. This person, can you imagine now? And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. In one case, I think like these excuses, in particular for Coach Garden, would not make any sense. And I'm going to tell you why. If you were a part of the senior setup and you weren't getting your salary, then you take the under 17 job and not getting your salary. I don't know. It's like you're moving out of one bad situation, know it's going to be worse, and you still go and do it. You have no excuse, man.
I think you should walk away. I think you should walk away.
That's my thing. Walk away.
and because it's everybody that's involved, most people that's involved in in football, in particular, we're talking football. It could happen in other industries too. It does happen in other industries. They have some sort of religious affiliation. They read a Bible, a Quran, whatever. And in every single one of these books, it tells you that if a man work, he must be paid, right? And in the Quran, in particular, they say you must be paid before the sweat on your brow dry. So how do we continue to run an institution with that belief and still not pay people and not pay people on time or not pay people enough to do what
I like that one.
supposed
When I
to
say the
do?
Quran says you must get paid before the sweat on your brow dry.
Yes,
Yeah, when
that's how important it is. That's how important it is.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother. And
Wa
you
alaikum
said,
salam.
and you said
You-
importantly that you must be paid enough and sufficient to your
yes,
worth and
yes.
work. It's an important concept about the equity of between man, etc. But man, I thank you very much because
And
I
before
didn't
you
even.
say that, Tadra, hold on before you say that, and if you go back to the earlier part of your conversation, the conversation was saying that we need for the senior team, for the under 20, for the under 17 team to have coaches from outside. I have no issue with that. I think we should always try to find best coaches, whether they're in country or out of country. But if we're saying that they are foreign coaches, then they're going to be paid the best, right? And we're normally able to pay these guys, and the local coaches doesn't have the same qualifications, and we have to. I think those conversations are difficult conversations to have without. Um, we should just be talking about getting the best coach. It doesn't matter where that coach is from. Just like recently with about players that play outside or live outside or born outside as foreigners versus local. They should just be um, Jamaican national team players or Trinidad national team players. I think the language sometimes continues to create a divide that's not good for the sport.
yeah. All right, Andre. Listen, when you return to NC, we'll talk. We'll talk. All right.
All right, brother. Cataract.
Yes, my brother.
You know that Cataract is a lead supporter, right? So you're too
He's
up
a
on.
lead supporter.
Yeah, you're too up on him now, because Arsenal beat
No, no,
Leeds.
no, no matter up on it. No, about it. No, sir.
You have a 2-0 lead over Cataract right now.
Yes, yes.
Well, the Arsenal one was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
All right, Andre.
Be on your merry way.
All right,
Be
brother.
on your
Yeah.
merry way.
Yeah. Hey, Cataract, listen, after run it, so
Yeah, man.
there are 6 minutes of the program left, right? I'm going to give you 6 minutes because, my brethren, Teddy Lee, security manager, did a video. You saw it?
No, I didn't. And I'm not going to go on there and give Teddy Lee any free views.
Teddy Lee,
What was
Teddy
his
Lee
video
said
now?
it may serve as criticism or it may serve as motivation for you. But he says you have a large following. And he believes that you need to go and start your own channel because he realized that when you're on some channel, every time you're on one channel, you diss the other channel. And you're just channel hopping. And he's
So,
so he said,
here's the first thing.
so Teddy Lee said, and he said you have a nice name. You understand me? You could call it Oini Blake Ultras. So
So
and he's asking if you want to come on his channel and have a discussion about it.
no, I
I joke,
decline
he
that
never
one.
said a part to say.
I will come any day that the Minister of Labour, Mr. Carl Samuda, comes on his channel, I will come right after. Secondly, I also believe that Teddy Lee should start his own security company and tell me when he does that because I hear him speaking about hopping from security company to security company. And nobody does stop him. I hear him speaking for guards, man. I hear him speaking for
No, because
marks, man.
But you know
I
that
hear
he is the
speaking.
chairman of the Private Security Limited, so he's over all the security companies.
Well, I've done some research. A little bird told me that that's not recognized. The minister said he don't know that organization. That a man just make it up in that bedroom.
No man, no man, you can't say that. No man, the
No,
man,
no,
he's the
no.
president. No, you talk about man and the man come on up on TV and we are talking about no ramp with no man. He's the
So,
president of the Private Security Limited, man. It's an official position.
it's official position.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll be asking for transparency. And he can tell us how he got that position. So listen, I this is educational, it's entertainment. I have no problem being a guest on a channel. I did run a channel for a while, but it is not feasible um with the plethora of bookings that Cataract gets. And you
Oh,
also know we are entering into the political silly season. And I'm a big man in the thing. You know that. So um I will have to spend more of my time, Teddy Lee, ensuring that Teddy Lee's government is brought to an end and that the Mark Jefferson Goldie becomes the next prime minister of Jamaica. So
all right.
that's
No, but
where my attentions will be.
we don't get into the
So
political. When we
no,
talk
but are
about
you bring it? So me I say
no, me never bring in the politics. We
so
talk about Teddy Lee and him
but
talking.
Teddy Lee, I am guaranteed that Teddy Lee video don't have more than 14 views. You understand? So Teddy Lee are
All right,
doing
fresh
things.
God, check the views and Teddy Lee video there.
You understand?
But I think you and Teddy Lee need to have a conversation.
I will have a conversation with Teddy Lee at a Jamaica game. Let me turn on the camera. I'll have a conversation with Teddy Lee at a Jamaica football match. How about that? That one will never happen because he doesn't go to the games.
No man, then Teddy Lee wasn't at one of the games with you guys.
I didn't see him.
Yeah man, what when they were doing it with
The man has 18 views. I was 4 views off. And I'm sure the other 4 views is Fresh God going to check. Big up the whole team, Cataract, when they are support the thing, you know what I mean? But let me say this. I will be wherever it best suits. I don't diss no man channel. I'll be wherever it best suits the reggae boys. I believe that Man's Man invited me when he was trying to bring together a set of ideas to move the team forward, as encouraged by an appearance of Coach Halgrimson on this channel, and that the coach was willing to work with us. And I have a lot of time for that. That's why I take time out. It's actually, if you notice, you don't really see me on the night, the evening video and everything. Because them time when son I juggle. So it's a nice time in the morning. We are the morning program. We get the day off for many, the right way. Big up the other YouTubers, except one. Big up Teddy Lee.
man
You
said
know.
no. Big up all the YouTubers, man. All the
Right?
ones that are different from you, they'll agree with you. Everybody,
No,
listen,
you can't. Everybody can't agree. What a boring world it would be,
yeah,
right? You have different perspective, different styles, and it all comes together for one thing. We all want to see Jamaica. I want to see Jamaica win the World Cup. And if there's anyone who doesn't want that, just make we know.
Freddie Butler.
It may never happen. It may never happen. But
All right, I'm gonna
we
let Brian.
die trying. Brian.
Yeah, let
Forward.
Brian. Hey, Freddie Butler, don't bother ramp with the thing. How the class I got, man, the teacher not there. Crazy. Tell them there will be no class this evening because the teacher don't leave until next week Monday. I'll be back next week Monday, so they can have class next week Monday. But no class can be kept today. All right, no class can be kept today. The teacher is not there. Brian, what say you?
Big up Lulu and all the double name man them. Owen, you know, the dual double name man them.
What say you on this matter, Sir Brian?
Yeah, man, sorry, I had to deal with a matter of urgency just now.
Yes.
What matters you are talking about? I came back when we were talking about Teddy Lee.
Oh, you want to talk about Teddy Lee?
Oh, but the thing is, I thought that Teddy Lee, based on what's going on in the current in his sector, may be very much occupied, trying to trying to start out things over his sector. I didn't know that he had any time to spare over the football world because over his sector it's quite busy. So
Festive. It's festive.
yes, but big up Teddy Lee.
You want to say, man, we call it the Ultras. Big up Teddy Lee. Yeah, man. But, Brad, I mean, what a piece of trickery yesterday against your team, man.
What you call trickery?
The player using his hand to pass the ball, and the referees couldn't even see it.
Yeah, I mean, you know that at first glance, to be honest, I didn't even see it until the commentators pointed it out. So I can't even blame him for it.
Yeah. But you see, your player reaction was bad, though. The man almost get in the referee's face.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had a discussion last night, and it will be dealt with accordingly.
All right. Hey, people, right here now, still in the management gotta go, You understand me? Brian, big up yourself. Cataract, big up yourself. We
Yeah, man,
have a
bless up,
debate.
man.
We have a big debate, Cataract, a ball, a car, and Teddy Lee. And Unseen.
Absolutely not.
Can you imagine, people? We have a discussion with Unseen, Cataract, ball, a car, and Teddy Lee.
You have five promoter now. You have five promoter.
But big up yourself, Cataract. Listen,
Yeah, man,
Sunday
big
and
up the
you
whole
know.
of the
So
people in the channel. Yeah, man, you have to talk to me. I'm sort out and tell us I can't juggle 1 hour.
all right. We'll make Toloti a short. When
Yeah,
we done,
man,
we do a
no.
3-way or something. All right.
All the things. you have somewhere for me, brother.
Yeah, that me I tell you, me I gonna leave you. Fresh God said it would be the madman hour.
Fresh God. I've never seen Fresh God show him face, So I even feel come for that hour.
Fresh God and Brain. Big up Brain Drain. Brain Drain was a champs. Because my friend said they saw him at champs, So he looked like he's back in space.
How did they identify him?
They know Brain Drain, man. People from Calabar know Brain Drain, And they tell me who Brain Drain is, And I know Brain Drain,
Have you played Alexia, her child support? That's what we want to do, Brain.
All right, people, listen. Big up for yourself, Everyone,
Yeah,
you
man, everybody
understand me?
stay safe, Stay
Yeah.
safe.
We're gonna deal with it together. All right, so that's it for the show today, people. I am Management. This has been I Am Sure Sports. As usual, before you leave, do 3 things: hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Enjoy the rest of your day and remain blessed indeed. And don't be stressed out by life challenges. All right, I am Management. As usual, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.